tense.
She says her roommates got pushy.
We got into a disagreement and an argument over my boyfriend, the fact that they didn't like him and they didn't want him over anymore.
They were there for multiple days on end. It wasn't like he just came to visit.
Was it fear that forced the issue?
She sent a text message saying that he was no longer welcome at the apartment.
Did he ever do in your apartment anything unlawful?
This is Judge Judy. Arena Robinson and Alyssa Galindo are suing their former roommate, Jasmine Linden, for unpaid rent and damages to their apartment.
Judge, this is case number 140 on the calendar in the matter of Galindo Robinson versus Linden. Parties have been sworn in.
Who's going to speak for the roommates?
Oh, I will.
And your last name is?
Robinson.
Miss Robinson, the defendant was a roommate of the two of you, and I believe there was one other person?
Yes, Your Honor.
One other person?
Yes, it was Alyssa.
Okay. And did you all move in at the same time?
Yes, we did. We moved in on October 15th.
Did you sign a lease?
Yes, we did.
You said you moved in on
October 15th.
Of 2019?
Correct.
Did all four roommates sign the lease?
There was only 3 roommates total, and yes, we are all on the lease.
And what was the duration of the lease? When there was a problem with the defendant and her relationship with the two of you. And from what I gather from the complaint and the answer, that emanated from the fact that she had a boyfriend, and there was a post that her boyfriend made that you felt was compromising.
Definitely.
And you brought it up to her, and subsequent to that, things were sort of tense. The boyfriend didn't come around anymore. And sometime in May of this year, the issue of the photograph, the posting came up again. There was an argument, and the defendant left. That was in May, correct?
Correct. May 21st, 2019.
Okay. And she had already paid her rent for May.
Correct.
A portion of the rent. And what was your portion of the rent, Miss Linden?
Me and Arena both shared it. It was $780 for both of our rooms. Alyssa paid a little bit more, but I paid around $800.
Would you tell me what your rent was?
$780.
You paid?
Plus utilities.
And you had paid May's rent?
Yes, Your Honor.
And when you moved out, you'll tell me about that.
So I moved
day
out
in May that you...
Yeah.
I didn't ask you yet.
Okay.
You continued to pay rent for the month of June, even though you weren't living there, right?
Yes.
There's no issue that she paid the month of June, correct?
No, correct.
So she paid May, and she wasn't there for part of the time in May. She paid June's rent, and pursuant to her lease.
Correct.
And her agreement, even though she wasn't there at all. Did you have your own room?
Yes, I did.
Did you have your own room, Miss Robinson?
Yes, I did as well.
So it was a 3-bedroom apartment.
Correct.
For the month of June and July, I want you to be very careful about how you answer this question. Did anyone sleep in Miss Linden's bedroom?
No, they did not, Your Honor.
Is what you're telling me that there was no overnight guest in Miss Linden's apartment, June or July?
No, there was not anybody in her room, Your Honor.
I'm not talking about living there. I'm talking about stayed over
yes,
in
no,
her
we didn't,
room.
No, we did not have anybody at the house in those months that did sleep over.
The month that she did not pay, which was the last month, and there was a prorated piece of that, how much was her prorated piece of rent for the month of August?
The prorated amount was $556.
Your complaint alleges money owed for prorated rent and apartment damage, and that figure you give me of $556 is what you are suing for. What do you allege the apartment damage was?
We got receipts back with invoices saying that they replaced the entire carpet all throughout the house, along with closet doors, paint, and cleaning fees.
Just to say, well, the $556 includes what the building is charging for taking out of security and charging for you? I didn't ask you that. I asked you what her prorated share of rent was that you are claiming that she owes you. That can't be the same figure as damages.
Prorated amount would be, if it was split between the 3 of us, I believe it was a figure of $1,200. And with that, split between 3 people would be $400 each.
Are you talking about her prorated share of rent?
Yes, till August 14th, not including the damages.
Did you live there in August?
We did not. We moved out July 25th of 2019.
She was already paid through the month of July.
Yes, and then we still had the prorated amount until the end of August 14th. And we also have evidence here saying that she stated that we will all be obligated to pay until August 14th from Jasmine Linden.
Do you have the text on July 25th to show me? You said in your answer that you have a text from one or both of the plaintiffs that said if you dropped off the keys, you would not owe any more money.
That is correct.
Do you have that text?
I do.
I'd like to see it.
This is part of it, and there's another page. There's actually two.
Who sent that to you?
Arena did, one of the plaintiffs.
Okay. If someone returned the keys today. I'd like to see the next part.
And the last page is where I stated that my keys were turned in.
Did you have security deposit when you moved in?
We did. It was $199, and we split it 3 ways.
$199?
That is correct, Your Honor.
When did you give the building notice, Miss Robinson, the lessor of the apartment that you were living in, that you were moving?
We gave them notice on July 14th, 2019, on a 30-day notice.
Your lease was up in August.
Yes, we actually moved into a new apartment, and in order to get all of our finances straight, we moved in a little bit earlier than our lease was up, but we still continued to pay at the prior apartment.
On condition that you were out on the 25th of July.
Correct.
That was the condition
Yes, we left on the 25th.
of letting you out of your lease.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. You didn't have cats, did you?
I did not.
You did not have cats. You have a cat.
They both do.
We both do.
No, you have a cat, Miss Robinson.
We
You-
do, yes.
Yeah, both have cats. And there was some cat damage in the apartment that they're claiming. The other damage you mentioned was a hole. Now, do we know how that hole happened?
Yes, we do. It was from all of our mounted TVs. We had 3 mounted TVs in the apartment.
How much did they charge you for spackling that hole?
We
did not.
spackled it ourselves.
Okay, I'm going to get to your counterclaim. Your counterclaim is silly. It's dismissed.
Oh, my
I
counterclaim,
want
Your
to
Honor,
hear
if I can. My
your whole counterclaim is just.
I know. I just wanted to. It's mainly just about the damage to my couch that their cats did, and that they did.
Okay.
There's a burn mark on it from them smoking on it, and their cats from scratching on it.
Okay. Your counterclaim is dismissed.
Okay.
Now I want to hear about the event that caused you to move out. I'm going to consider that and whether or not you have any part of paying rent after you paid for both May, June, and July when you weren't there, and they moved out themselves in the month of July.
Yeah.
You want to briefly tell me about that event that you say you felt unsafe, so you moved out? Let me hear.
Yeah, so we, in May, at the end of May, we got into a disagreement and an argument over my boyfriend, the fact that they didn't like him and they didn't want him over anymore. And I took that and the way that she had worded her text message that...
Just a minute. You have to tell me, not that they didn't like him. I want to know who said what to whom.
Arena...
Somebody said something. Arena said to you.
Yes, she sent a text message because he was going to come up there that week, and she sent a text message saying that he was no longer welcome at the apartment, and that neither one of them wanted him up at the apartment, and that the lease was up in August, so I'm sure I had plans to move out, and so, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, not like you're speaking to a contemporary, but to an elderly person.
Okay.
They sent you a text message. I would like to see the text message that Arena sent you.
I don't have that printed out, but I can pull it up on my phone if
We have
that's
it, Your
okay.
Honor.
I'd like to see it.
Would you like to see the photo as well? We have a photo
I
attached
didn't
as
ask
well.
for the photo.
Okay.
I want to see. Okay, so my question to you, Miss Robinson and Galindo,
Yes.
is that your last name?
Yes.
Did the defendant's boyfriend ever do anything to either of you, either inside or outside of the apartment that the three of you shared?
As far as...
Miss Galindo? Just a second. That's a question. Did the defendant's boyfriend ever do anything to either of you, either inside or outside of the apartment, physically?
No.
Did he ever say, in the times that he visited you, did he ever say anything to either one of you that you would like to tell me about that was threatening or menacing, either inside or outside of your apartment?
No, he did not.
Then you can't tell her who she can have in or out of the apartment. That was in writing. You had a lease. If you told me that the boyfriend, I mean, if he put up some obscene picture of himself on the internet, that's his own stupidity. But evidently he was there frequently, and when he was frequently there, he never did anything. Well, I'll ask you one other question. Did he ever do in your apartment anything unlawful?
No, he did not.
Then you can't make those restrictions on a tenant and telling a tenant that they can't have a social guest because you don't like them and you think that they're crude, lewd, for whatever reason, not good for her, whatever the reason. I mean, she's an adult. If she signed a lease, you can't tell her she can't have somebody over. You want to say something, Miss Galindo?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
I stood up from the table and I just started dancing, and Darren touched my behind. And with a reflex, I did like that, and he fell on the floor. And then I went to sit down, and he came punch me in my, sorry. He came and punched me in my face.
Arena Robinson and Alyssa Galindo claim former roommate Jasmine Linden owes for rent and damages to their apartment. Alyssa is countersuing the damaged couch.
Well, you want to say something, Miss Galindo?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Yeah.
The reason
Go
as
ahead.
to why we said that is because she would have her boyfriend over multiple days at a time. He would be over for 3 to 4 days at a time, spend the night. He wasn't just visiting casually. He wasn't just making an appearance. When they were both there together, they were there for multiple days on end. It wasn't like he just came to visit.
That's okay. That's okay. Your case is dismissed. We're done. Thank you very much. Go home. Be happy.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That's it. You're done. Goodbye.
This case is completed. Parties are excused.
I'm glad that she saw that it was a total, like, it's totally, like, then they didn't have a case.
There are some people who sign leases and break leases.
So I'm glad that she saw that I was truthful and that they had no claim to
We were completely okay with paying until the end of the lease.
what they were trying to say I did or didn't do.
She, on the other hand, decided to just completely ghost us.
They felt like they had what they had to say, what they had to say, and we went our separate ways. It was best for everybody.
I don't think that is very mature as an adult, so that's all I have to say about that.
My grandma paid $1,200 for it. It was a brand new couch,
The couch was free. Ridiculous.
and their cats ripped it up, and they've also, there's a burn mark. And I'm glad just to put this all behind me.
Time to move on and get her out of my life.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Larry versus Harrington. Step forward, please.
Regina Larry is suing her former friend, Darren Harrington, for punching her in the face during a get-together at a friend's house.
Miss Larry, it is your claim that the defendant, who you knew, assaulted you.
Yes.
By punching you in the face.
Yes.
Mr. Harrington acknowledges that he punched you in the face. Mr. Harrington said he was acting in self-defense. Okay. When did this happen?
I believe it was his birthday, August 16th.
2013?
Yes.
And there was a party?
Well, yeah, there was a little get-together.
How many people?
There was, what, 5 of us, 6 of us?
Besides you and the defendant, who else was there?
It was Vincent, it was Lala, it was Dougie, and my brother came in afterwards.
What time did the incident take place?
About 5 p.m.
Tell me what happened.
At first we were playing cards, and after cards, everybody started doing their own thing. I stood up from the table and I just started dancing, and Darren touched my behind. And
He did?
Yes. And with a reflex, I did like that, and he fell on the floor. And I told him, don't you ever disrespect me like that again. He said, all right, I got this. All right, I'm sorry. And then I went to sit down, and he came punch me in my, sorry. He came.
How in the world, how big she is, why I want to fight her?
What?
She bigger than me. Why I want to start a fight with her?
Let's start out with, you were at Vincent's
We
house.
was at Vincent's house, yes.
She got up to dance,
Yes,
and she was dancing.
yes, yes.
Did you touch her behind?
I ain't touch her behind.
Where did you touch her?
I ain't touch her, she touched me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Had you ever had trouble with Miss Larry?
No.
Could you think of any reason why she would just come over if you had no trouble with her
She was
and
drunk.
slap you?
She was drunk.
What about you?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Regina Larry says former friend Darren Harrington punched her in the face during a get-together. Darren claims he was protecting himself.
Let's start out with, you were at Vincent's
We
house.
was at Vincent's house, yes,
She got up to dance.
yes.
Did you touch her behind?
I ain't touch her behind.
Where did you touch her?
I ain't touch her, she touched me.
Okay, so she was up there dancing,
She was dancing.
and what were you doing?
I was by the kitchen, by the sink. I turned around.
Was she dancing in the kitchen?
She was dancing, yes ma'am.
In the kitchen!
Yes, she was dancing in the kitchen.
Is that where you were dancing?
No, ma'am. I was at the table. There's a kitchen and there's a dining room. We were playing cards at the dining room table. I just got up out my seat and just started dancing.
Just a second. So what you're saying is that this all transpired in the dining area.
Yes.
Was it in the dining area or the kitchen?
It was in the kitchen.
Kitchen. Okay, so what happened in the kitchen, Mr. Harrington?
I was by the sink. I turned around and she hit me in my face for no reason. Then she threw me on the ground. My friend Vincent, he the one grabbed her. So his friend grabbed me. So she started trying to come at me. Then that when I had swung on her for self-defense, because she was going to try to kill me. Yeah.
Mr. Harrington, had you ever had trouble with Miss Larry?
No.
Then could you think of a reason why she would hit you?
She started everything, the whole day.
No, I'm just asking, could you think of any reason why she would just come over to you if you had no trouble with her?
She was
and
drunk.
Slap you?
She was drunk.
What about you?
I was tipsy.
You were tipsy?
I was tipsy.
You would all had something to drink that day.
And she the one bought it.
Good. I don't care who bought them. Good for her. Why didn't you buy the drinks?
Because my birthday.
Okay. Miss Larry, who is this gentleman?
That's my brother. He came in afterwards. I was bringing...
So he wasn't there?
Well, yes, he was there.
When it happened?
Yes.
Would you stand up, please, sir? Okay, Mr. Larry. You know Mr. Harrington for a long time?
Not that long.
How long?
A couple of months. I just knew that he was friends with my sister.
Okay. Did you see this incident?
Yes, I did.
Were you playing cards as well?
No, I was just standing by waiting for a ride home from my sister.
Okay. Was she drinking?
Yes, we were all drinking.
She wasn't going to drive home.
Well, no, I don't. Well, I was waiting for a ride. I didn't know her decision. I didn't know what she's going to make.
Tell me what you observed.
They were playing cards, and it came to an end, and everybody went their separate ways. And she just stood up out of nowhere, and she just started dancing. And the gentleman, Mr. Harris, touched her on the butt, and out of instinct, she just threw her arm back, fell to the floor. She approached him, said, "Don't touch me in that way again," and that was that. As she went to go sit down, out of nowhere, Mr. Harris struck her in the face.
Okay. Have a seat, please. Okay. Did you seek medical treatment?
Yes, I did.
I'd like to see your bill, please. How did you get an injury to your left shoulder and left wrist?
Because when he hit me and then we were fighting, that was the second time, okay? We were already had tussled. And that's when I was like a football player. That's when Vincent came and pulled them apart. I had my arm around him like this. So when Vincent and must have pulled, I must have hurt, because...
Okay.
Yeah.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Well, where did he punch you?
Punched me in the forehead right here.
Oh, in your forehead.
And that's when we started tussling. That's how I hurt my arm.
Okay, got it. Okay, so what you're seeking is the payment of your medical bills and some money for pain and suffering. You're seeking $1,500.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,500. Keep your hands off the lady, sir. Don't act disrespectfully.
Please excuse me. Step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
You rented a car for him. You destroyed the car.
Accidentally.
Who gave him the credit card?
He's a big manipulator.
He played you.
Next Judge Judy.
She the one started. She was dancing, then I turned around, she slapped me in my face.
Because it happened earlier that day.
Oh, she put a bill on me. Yep.
Day by opening a can of beer in my car.
My whole brand new outfit, she put a bill on me.
I said what I had to say to him, and I told him that I should let him out, but I didn't. We were on our way back to Vincent's house, so.
No, she grabbed out my hand and put a bill on me.
He needs to stop drinking and hitting on women.
I haven't hit no woman.
I'm the second woman he has hit on.
She would come after me, so I had to defend myself.
That means he don't have respect for himself or others.
No, sir. She don't got no butt. What I'm gonna try to grab on her for?
I mean, he's a cool cat, but, he needs to change his ways.
She all right. Like I said, she cool. She all right.
But I'm glad that she was on my side with this.
You rented a car for him.
3 times.
Listen to me. Don't talk. I'm not crazy about you.
It was a damaged relationship from the start.
You destroyed the car,
Yes.
right?
Accidentally.
But her love and money didn't stop.
Who gave him the credit card?
Your Honor, the whole reason I gave him the credit card, he's a big manipulator.
He played you.
This is Judge Judy. Erica Fulcher is suing her ex-boyfriend, Keshawn Holmes, for transportation costs, credit card charges, and for extorting money from her.
Judge's case number 1 has been sworn in. You may be seated.
Miss Fulcher, how old are you?
35 years old, Your Honor.
What do you do for a living?
I am a licensed esthetician and entrepreneur.
Single.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any children?
No, ma'am.
Who introduced you to him?
My friend, Florence.
Do you know how old he is?
Yes, ma'am.
How old is he?
25 years old.
Do you know what he does for a living?
He's an inspiring rapper, I believe. And
he does nothing.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you knew that he did nothing. You know, I'm an aspiring Grandma Moses. It's not going to happen for me. You know who that was?
No, ma'am.
She was someone who started painting at the age of 75 and did it very well. So your friend introduced you to this unemployed person who, according to you, told you he was at a crossroads in his life, trying to make himself better.
No.
You like yourself just the way you are.
Yes, ma'am.
So, you know, there are some people that are born with confidence. They may not have anything to back it up, but they're born with confidence. It's a wonderful thing. Really, it's a wonderful thing for everybody to have that kind of confidence, even though they have done nothing, okay? So the first thing, according to you, started to date. Now, he says you were never dating. So when you said in your complaint, in September 2020, I met Sean through my best friend's brother, and we started dating. That was wrong.
I don't consider us to be in a relationship.
No grunting. What?
I wouldn't consider dating to be a relationship. It was definitely a friendship.
Well, you wrote it.
Yes, ma'am.
You wrote it. You wrote it dating. Dating is something more than just friends.
I agree, yes.
Well, were you dating or just friends?
Dating.
No.
There we go. That's what you said in your complaint. Now, Mr. Holmes, I would like you to give me your definition. Listen to me. You know, you may ultimately prevail in this case. That doesn't mean it's not going to cost you. What does the word dating mean to you?
Two people together, going out, having a bond exclusively, only, you know, and basically as an understanding that you two both are dating and, you know, y'all come to that terms in the word of like, hey, we date, and one of y'all ask each other to date, boyfriend, girlfriend type.
Okay,
you know.
so let me pull out some words that you said. Exclusively. So to you, dating means neither one of you see anybody else.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so I would like you to describe for me, give me a word to describe.
Transactional.
What?
I gave her.
What does that mean,
I gave her stuff for her assistance back, so it wasn't like anything just off the genuineness or muscle of like doing anything.
What did you give her?
Oh, money for the things that I'm being sued for and just time and stuff like that. Like I paid, like, you know, it was a conversation. Hey, can you do this? I will pay you. And yes, I will do this as long as you pay up front first. So it was nothing like, oh, speak, ma'am.
Could you please further describe to me what you mean when you say it was a transactional relationship?
Basically, everything was in front.
Mr. Holmes, stand up straight.
Got you.
And I want you to eliminate the word basically and like from your answers to me.
Yes, Your Honor.
No basically, no like. Perhaps I should be more specific with you. Did you and the plaintiff ever have, since September when you met, sexual relations?
Yes.
More than once?
Yes.
More than 10 times?
No.
Between 5 and 10?
Nah, wouldn't say that. More like 4.
So between 1 and 5? 4?
Yes.
Car for you that you destroyed. But she says you paid her $491.43 towards the rental fees, but you destroyed the car.
Yes.
Right?
Accidentally.
Well, an accident is when you're not doing something really stupid.
Well,
An accident happens usually when somebody is being cautious in a car and through no fault of their own, or through a misjudgment, there's damage. But this says he was using the car to perform tricks. What kind of tricks?
It was a careless accident, and it wasn't too much of tricks. I was filming a music video, and yeah, it was just the mistake going wrong, some new stuff I learned how to do. Brake gave out, couldn't push the brake in time. I hit a wall. Accept accountability for that. It wasn't like no secret. It wasn't like something I tried to hide or anything.
Okay. Your problem is, Ms. Fulcher, you're suing him for a lot of things. The fact that he overspent on a credit card
yes,
of yours?
No, Your Honor. I have the evidence. He had a credit card in his name. He took the card himself.
Credit card, you did.
Who gave him the credit card?
Your Honor, the whole reason I gave him the credit card...
Who's responsible for paying the credit card, Ms. Holmes?
Based off of the agreement that Mr. Holmes and I had, and me having empathy for him and him trying to transition.
Listen to me. I know exactly what it is when I read the papers. Do you understand? I want to show you how ridiculous you are.
Yes.
You rented a car for him.
3 times.
And don't speak out again. You know I'm not crazy about you.
Yes, ma'am.
You rented a car for him, and you saw what he did to the car, and you continued to do other things for him. Give him money for a plane ticket because he needed it, send him money because he needed it to get back home because somebody, he said, robbed him at gunpoint. You believed all that after you saw what he did to the rental car. And during that time, you were having intimate relations with him. According to him, 4 times. He said 4 times because he was being a wise Alec. The rest of it is on you. You didn't have a business arrangement with him. You had a social arrangement with him that he didn't take seriously, but you did. And if you said to me, he was a young man, 10 years younger than I am, he wanted to transition his life, he wanted to do something more with himself, and, you know, I had no relationship with him other than I met him, and I thought he had potential, and I wanted to have sexual relations with him is something entirely different. Then you're giving money to a young boyfriend, and you don't get it back.
Can I say something, Your Honor?
Women are supposed to be smarter. Unless what you're going to tell me that you didn't have intimate relation with him, then I'll listen to you. But you and I both know that that's not true.
Correct, Your Honor. Mr. Holmes is correct. We only had intimacy 3 times. So I was not attracted to him in that way, but I did have empathy for him, and I was trying to help him transition. The reason why I got him the credit card in his name was in efforts to teach him how to be self-sufficient and to disconnect myself from having to be accountable or reliable for him. He did state to me that no one ever, cares about him, that he really needed help. And one of the reasons, the reason why I continue to do things is he's a big manipulator, and he would threaten me. He would emotionally and verbally
You rented me a car 3 times.
I did not rent.
Listen to me. Listen to me.
Sorry.
Don't
Sorry,
talk.
Ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
Yes, I did not rent him a car 3 times. It was 2 times. When the second time happened, which was on October 17th, came to my house and distraught, and he was crying, telling me how he just needs my help again, and he's so sorry. And he even had me in tears.
Listen to me. Listen to me. He played you.
Absolutely.
He played you. There is only one part of your lawsuit that I am going to entertain. All the rest of it, you rack up to experience and being foolish. And the only thing that I'm actually curious about, because all the rest of it is, you had a young boy toy that you said, okay, I'm going to help him turn his life around. And then it all sort of kicked back at you. You asked him for the keys back the second time that you rented a car from him. I want you to tell me what happened when you wanted the keys back for the car.
On October 19th, when I asked him for the keys back, he told me that I needed to
Why did you ask him for the keys back to the second rental car on the 19th of October?
I never wanted to do it in the first place, Your Honor, which is how the first rental car...
Would you just
I was trying to get the vehicle back.
What happened that caused you to try to get the vehicle back? There had to be some change in your attitude.
Well, I
What
was always trying to get the vehicle back. So Mr. Holmes came to my house. Outside my house, I heard a lot of chaos. I heard someone calling his name, saying, Keyshawn, Keyshawn, and I work from home. I had a Zoom meeting at 9 o'clock, so I couldn't address it. I was like, what is going on out there? I guess he was sharing his location with someone, and that person came to my house and was honking the horn.
Just a second. On October 18th, did he sleep over at your house?
Yes, ma'am.
So he slept at your house, and what you heard outside was a commotion because a woman was calling his name outside.
Yes, Your Honor.
That is playing out, and that scene is playing out. Put your hand down. I don't want to look at you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today.
Did you get married?
We did, just not there.
Where?
We had a online ceremony.
We could have done the virtual element as well.
You know, if I had different parents, I would have been 5'10" and lithe, but I did not have different parents. It is what it is.
Erica Fulcher says ex-boyfriend Keyshawn Holmes crashed her car, ran up her credit card, and extorted money from her.
Now, what you heard, a woman was calling his name outside.
Yes, Your Honor.
That is playing out, and that scene is playing out. Put your hand down. I don't want to look at you. That scene is playing out in my head, that he spent the night at your house, somebody came by, that he was sharing his location with. So on the 19th, you said to him, give me the keys back to the car. You weren't always trying to listen to me. You weren't always trying to get the keys back. You had just slept with him on the 18th.
Your Honor, that is not true.
Yeah. Okay. So on the 19th, you said, give me the keys back. And he said,
give me $500 if you want the keys back, because he felt that he had given me money previously and he doesn't really know how to do math.
I did.
And so because it was that important to me, I went in my house and I got the money and I gave it to him to be done with him.
No,
I felt like, you know,
yeah, I got it. My gut reaction was correct. Next time, if you want to help somebody, find somebody who's 9.
I understand, Your Honor.
And invest in their future. You understand. Good. Your case is dismissed. Thank you very much.
Thank you. This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
I'm satisfied with the decision, but, you know, I just didn't think this should come this far. It is what it is. It's going to be my fault. I have no bad blood, so I always try to be on the good terms and try to come to some type of conclusion and even help. You know, I never wanted any type of drama or anything, but obviously 2 people got to be mature about it and come together and be on the same page.
All parties in the matter of Khorasani versus Mekki, step to the podium, please.
Zaki Khorasani is suing Event Center COO Krista Mekki for the return of his rental deposit after pandemic restrictions caused him to change his wedding venue.
Mr. Khorasani, well in advance of your planned wedding, you booked the defendant's venue to have the wedding. According to what I read, you signed a contract in August of 2019. The wedding was supposed to take place in November of 2020.
Correct.
And you gave the defendants a $3,000 deposit to hold the venue.
That's correct.
And then COVID struck the planet, and you didn't use their venue, and you want your deposit back.
Exactly.
So I have a couple of questions to ask you before I look at the contract.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Everybody had already come around. Everybody knew the drill. Big Inside was a no-no. 0 people.
But on the date of his actual wedding, we could still...
Business?
Yes.
They should be smarter.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Zaki Khorasani is suing Event Center COO Krista Mekki for the return of his rental deposit after pandemic restrictions caused him to change his wedding venue.
Now, you do understand that the reason for a deposit is so that the venue can not book any other event for that day. They are committed to doing an event for you on that date.
Yeah, the $3,000 deposit was... Yes.
The answer is yes. And you understand that the reason you booked so far in advance was because you wanted to ensure that no one else could get that venue. That's the reason that you booked so far in advance. And according to you, you planned a big wedding, 150 people. And your complaint alleges that in August of 2020, you were advised that you would have to limit the number of people in order to comply with the law in the state of California. You do live in California.
That's correct.
Correct? And somebody is going to tell me that at that time in August, events were limited, according to this, to 50 people, which actually at this point sounds like a lot for invited to your wedding. Defendants say that's not our fault. We were prepared on the date of November 8th to have a function at our facility. It's not our fault that the state limited the number of people. So now I'm going to go to Ms. Mecki. In August of 2020, do you know what the governor's rule was with regard to gatherings in August?
Yes, 50 was allowed.
What was the limit?
Excuse me.
50 were allowed in August.
Correct.
How many were allowed in November?
At the beginning of November, 50 were still allowed. They changed the order on November 13th.
To how many?
Nothing inside.
0.
Correct.
And did that because?
COVID.
Right.
Right.
Did you get married?
We did, just not there.
Where?
We had a online ceremony at my house, our house.
On what date?
On November 9th, the day after we were scheduled to originally get married.
So all your closest guests came virtually?
Yeah, we had our immediate families present, distanced, masked, maybe 8 people, and everyone else was able to dial in through the online virtual call.
Okay.
Judge Judy. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Now, how many people are allowed inside now?
Still at 0.
He gets his $3,000 back.
Okay.
Do you understand?
We could have done the virtual element as well.
Yeah. You know, if I had different parents, I would have been 5'10" and lithe, but I did not have different parents. It is what it is. And your venue should be smart enough to understand that. If they were planning a wedding in August and at that time, foolishly, they were allowing 50 people to gather inside, then my reaction might be different. If you wanted, depending upon your safety, if you said, well, I can have 50 people, that's what the governor says I can have. But in November, everybody had already come around. Everybody knew the drill. Big inside was a no-no. 0 people, he gets his money back.
But on the date of his actual wedding, we could still do 50.
Is what you're telling me on the date of his actual wedding, which was supposed to be on November 8th. And what you're telling me is that the governor's restriction, although announced before, took place on the 13th. Is that it was announced before, but it was effective on the 13th. Is Corinthian Event Center still in business?
Yes.
They should be smarter. They should be smarter. Anyway, judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,000. We're finished. Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
Did you have the leash in your hand at all times?
Yes, I did. The pit bull had broken away from the owner. I was screaming. The dog was totally clenched onto my dog.
Next Judge Judy.
We gave them every opportunity to still have their event at our event center, just maybe not on the date that they wanted.
We understand that changing the date could have been a possibility for us, but we were very hard set on being married in November of 2020.
Due to COVID, but hey, she ruled how she ruled, and that's fine.
And we didn't want to reschedule, not knowing what the future would have held in case we would have had to reschedule again after that.
Yeah, we rescheduled about 100 couples through COVID, so...
I understand the Stonewall approach, but I think everyone needs to be a little bit more compassionate during these times.
It is what it is, 2020 weddings, what can we say?
It's time to enjoy being married.
Did did you have the leash in your hand at all times?
Yes, I did.
A neighbor says she has no grip on reality.
The pit bull had broken away from the owner. The dog was totally clenched onto my dog. I was screaming. He got the dog off of my dog.
Will she ever let go of her story?
When did you hand the leash off to Mr. Tripp?
I'm not exactly sure how he got the leash out of my hand.
I'm not sure either.
This is Judge Judy. Donna Cullum is suing Nicole Anderson for vet bills and medical bills after she and her dog were attacked by Nicole's pit bull.
Judge, this is case number 141 on the calendar in the matter of Cullum versus Anderson. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated, gentlemen.
Miss Cullen, you have 2 terrier dogs.
Yes,
Do you have photographs of them?
I do.
May I see them, please? They look as if they weigh about 12, 14 pounds.
20, 22 pounds.
They like to eat.
Mm-hmm. They're both pretty healthy.
How long have you had them?
The one on the left, which is Hannah, is 10. I've had her 5 years. And the other one is Sasha. I've had her 13 years.
And this is, I assume, your boyfriend that you were with that day?
Yes.
And how old is that dog?
He was about 10 years old, almost 10.
How long have you had him?
I've had him since he was 8 weeks old.
And what kind of a dog does your boyfriend have?
He has a basset hound.
Do you live together?
Yes.
And how old is the basset hound?
He's 1 year old.
And does the basset hound get along with your dog?
Yes, they're always together.
This incident happened between not only the 2 of you, but your 2 dogs on October 12th of this year. Do you want to tell me what happened, Miss Cullum?
Yes, about a little after 7 in the morning, I was walking my 2 dogs. I was about a block from my home, and I looked down to the right on the next street, and the defendant and the gentleman were walking 2 dogs towards me.
They were on the same side of the street?
They were the side. Can I show it on the...
They were together?
They were together.
They were together?
They were together, but they were across the street.
But on the
opposite side of the street, down the end, towards the end of the street, and I was walking forward.
So they were on the opposite side of the street from you?
Yes.
Okay, and then what happened?
I got to about where the street was, and I was crossing, and I looked, and I saw that the pit bull was getting a little aggressive, and I decided, well, I couldn't turn around and go back because they were coming the direction of my home, so I decided to go ahead.
Would you point to where you are, or are you orange?
I'm orange.
You're orange. Okay, great. So you were walking down the street.
I was right here.
So this incident happened in the middle of the street?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Miss Anderson,
yes.
I want you to look at Miss Cullum's evidence. Do you see it?
I do.
Would it be fair to say that that's where the incident took place between the dogs?
No.
And you?
No.
Show me where you think the incident took place.
And so, if I'm the one in the blue, we were actually on the same side of the street when it started to happen, right here.
So you were on the same side now of the street with her.
Over. Yeah, we had crossed over.
Just a second. Okay, so my question to you is, you had crossed over to the same side of the street that she was walking on, and you were walking up that street. Is that what you're saying to me?
That is correct.
That, Miss Anderson, that you were walking up the street where she was walking her 2 little dogs?
Yes, because we lived on that same street.
Okay, show me where you live.
Okay, so she lives
Show me.
We're going up the street, you turn right here on Treviso Avenue. That's
Yes.
our house in that cul-de-sac.
So your houses have to be on the same side of the street that she was. You could have been on the other side of the street and crossed at the next corner. I'm just looking at your photograph.
Yeah, we were crossing to go home.
If you're the blue dog, you could have stayed on without crossing over. You could have walked up to the next street and then made your turn into the cul-de-sac where you live. Am I correct?
You're correct.
So I assume that when you saw her with her 2 dogs, you had to have seen her because you crossed over, and according to what you say, you weren't very far away from her.
Yes.
So you had to have seen that she was there with 2 dogs.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Miss Cullen.
I was crossing the street, and I saw that the dog, the pit bull, had broken away from the owner and charged, as that black shadow shows, and came and got to my dog.
Okay, when you say broke away, Miss Cullum, from the owner. The defendant's dog was on a leash, had been on a leash along with the beagle, or basset hound.
Right.
Basset hound. They had both been leashed. According to what I've read here, when you say got away from, break away from, so the dog was no longer attached to the defendant?
Exactly.
Or was she? So at the time this happened, the leash.
Yes.
Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Go ahead.
By the time I saw the dog, I couldn't get away. And it came and it grabbed Hannah. And I went to grab him as much as I could. Hannah came around and out of defense got me in the left wrist, bit the top and bottom of my left wrist. I curled up into a ball and ended up on the ground, and I was screaming. And the next thing I knew, Doyle, with the defendant, came running around, and he somehow
You mean the man?
The man. He got
He
the
came
dog.
around.
I didn't see it. He got the dog off of my dog. The dog was totally clenched onto my dog.
Did you see how he did that? Did you hear him say something?
No, I didn't see him do it. My husband, he told my husband how he did it.
Were you present when he told your husband how he did it?
I was there, but I didn't hear it. I was on the ground.
Is your husband here?
Yes, he is.
Would he come up, please? Your last name is same, Cullen?
Yes,
Mr. Cullen, you were not with your wife at the time, is that right?
that is correct.
Did you subsequently have a conversation with either the defendant or her boyfriend?
By a dog. And when I got there, Donna was on the ground, and she comes running out with her phone saying, "This is my information," and they said it was all her fault. Well, when I come running out...
Just a second. Stop. Who came running out
Nicole.
with her phone? And this young lady came running out
Yes.
and gave you her information.
Well, she tried to, but I was more worried about my wife and my dog, and I'd just gotten up, so I didn't have anything to take any information down with me at that time.
Okay. Did you speak to her boyfriend?
Yes, he came by later on that evening and spoke to us.
He came to your house?
Yes.
What's your boyfriend's last name?
Tripp.
Mr. Tripp, would you stand up, please? I want you to be very careful what you tell me. You were there during this incident, and at some point, you got the pit bull off of one of the dogs. I want you to describe to me what you told Mr. Cullen that night, because that night would be freshest in your memory. This incident happened on October 12th, so certainly it would be fresher in your mind than it is today. So I want you to tell me what you told him the night of October.
I didn't tell him how I got the dog loose. As the dogs were fighting, I was
Just a second.
yanking.
You were what?
As the dogs were fighting, I was yanking on the dog's leash for him to let go of their dog. That's how I got him to let go.
Hold on a second. Well, that's interesting. Where did you get the leash from?
The dog was still on the leash.
Where did you get the leash from? There's a collar. The collar is attached to the leash. You were walking your basset hound. Where did you get the leash from, Mr. Tripp? Now you're starting to understand me.
From Miss
From
Anderson.
the ground.
From Miss Anderson, that's who.
No, you didn't.
Okay.
Sit down. No, you didn't. You know what happened? Mr. Tripp, just so that you know, Mr. Tripp, just so that you know, what happens, sir, when you're asked a question and you're not prepared to answer it, Mr. Tripp, pay attention. When you watch this case, because you will watch this case, you will see that your artery popped out twice. You know why? Because you weren't telling me the truth. Now you can sit down. Now you're going to tell me your version of these events. Did you lose control of your dog?
No, I did not.
Did you have the leash in your hand at all times?
Yes, I did.
When did you hand the leash off to Mr. Tripp?
I'm trying to hold on to the dog while they were fighting.
I'm not sure either. I'm not sure how he got control of the leash either. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
But certainly, two people weren't tugging on the dog at the same time. What did he tell you, Mr. Cullen, when he came over to your house that night?
He said that first they saw Donna, and that he was happy to see that she was going to go in the opposite direction that they were going. And the next thing he knew, that the dog had broken the leash and run away from Nicole. And by the time They got over there. He'd already checked on how to get a pit bull off of a person, dog, whatever, once it clamped down.
Is that what he told you?
Yeah.
Mr. Cullen, I'm asking you what he told you. So he said to you he already checked on how to get a pit bull off somebody or something.
Yes.
This is what he told you.
Yes, he
That's
checked
why
it out on
this
the
was
internet
going up
on
and
how
down.
to do that. And
So he checked that out before.
Yes, he checked it out on the internet beforehand. And he said that you had to punch it in the back of the neck. He told me that he had to do it 3 times before the dog would release. And he's a pretty good-sized guy. So I don't know if I could have punched the dog 3 times and got it off or not.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Has your dog ever bitten any animal before?
No.
Is there any reason why you figure out how to get a pit bull off another living thing?
And later today,
You have a 5-year-old child, so it was the 3 of you living together.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you have your own room?
No, I did not, Your Honor. We were actually...
Where did you sleep? Just a...
Donna Cullum says she and her terrier were injured when Nicole Anderson lost control of her pit bull.
Okay. Can I have the vet bills, please? Can I see the vet bills? And your wife's emergency care bill for her wrist that was bitten by her own dog that was your fault. Has your dog ever bitten any animal before?
No.
Miss Anderson, is there any reason why your boyfriend would have looked up on the internet that you can figure out how to get a pit bull off another living thing? Because there's no question he told that to Mr. Cullen. There's no question that that's what he told him, that he looked it up on the internet, how to get a pit bull off another living creature. There's no question that Mr. Cullen didn't make that up. Why do you think he would look up how to get a pit bull off a living creature? Because he has nothing else to do? Is he employed? Does he have work that keeps him busy?
Yes, he is employed.
I mean, I wouldn't look up how to get a Shih Tzu, which is what I had that up. Did you ever? Well, let me put it this way to you, Miss Anderson. He has a basset hound. Did you ever look up on the internet how to get a basset hound off another living creature? Did you ever have occasion to look that up?
No.
Just a second. Mr. Tripp, we're coming back to you a second. You can shake yes or no, because I don't want you to stand up again. Too much exercise. Did you ever look up how to get a basset hound off another living creature?
No.
Okay, can I see the bills, please? Okay. What was the entire vet bill?
$2,829.16.
And which emergency room or doctor did you go to?
I went to Mercy Southwest. It's a Dignity Health Hospital in Bakersfield.
And what did they do for you, for your wrist?
I had to have a tetanus shot because they gave me 4 sutures on the top and 3 sutures on the bottom of my wrist.
You own your own home, Miss Anderson, or does Mr. Tripp?
He owns the home.
I suggest, Mr. Tripp, that you advise your homeowner's insurance that you have a pit bull in your house. I assume you have homeowner's insurance. Mr. Tripp, who's the carrier of your homeowner's insurance?
Farmers.
Farmers. Do they know that a pit bull lives in your house? Unlikely. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. We're finished. Thank you. We're done. Farmers, pay attention.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
I don't feel like it was my dog's fault.
It was entirely their fault.
Her dog actually nipped at my dog first, which caused him to then defend himself.
She should have had more control over her dog.
It was terrifying, honestly.
I worry about her every time she goes out and walks the dogs.
I'm glad her dog's going to be okay.
If I see a pit bull, I will go the other direction.
All parties in the matter of Blower versus Blower. Step to the podium, please.
Rocio Blower is suing her ex-husband, Drew Blower, for denting her car when he slammed himself onto the hood. Drew is countersuing for vandalism to his car.
Ms. Blower, this is what I gather from your case, from your sworn complaint. See if I understand why you want to get the courts involved in this drama with your ex-husband. You and Mr. Blower have a 5-year-old son together, and you are divorced.
Yes.
In what year were you divorced?
2016.
And then, according to you, in April of 2020, for whatever reason, the defendant moved back into your home.
Yes, he had just
and was
lost,
there April, May, June, July, 6 months, and this incident happened in October. Is that right, Mr. Bauer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Blauer, I'm going to ask you a question. You have a 5-year-old child, so it was the 3 of you living together. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Since April? Did you have your own room?
No, I did not, Your Honor.
Where did you sleep?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Our son again found his way on the top of Drew's car. Well, that must have been some good watching by his mother, and was using it as a slide. That's your sworn complaint. Courts don't help stupid people.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Rocio Blauer is suing her ex-husband, Drew Blauer, for denting her car when he slammed himself onto the hood. Drew is countersuing for vandalism to his car.
Now, where did you sleep?
We actually all slept in the same bed, including our 5-year-old son. We only had...
Is that correct? Is that correct?
Yes, up until the last.
That's either a yes or a no.
Yes.
I don't care up until the last. April, May, June, July, August, September. This incident happened in October. Okay, so I'm going to give you the scenario that you laid out to me. His is different, and he's got to count, but you said that you didn't like it when your 5-year-old son played slide on his car.
That's correct.
That's what you said, correct?
Yes.
And one day you were outside, and I assume you didn't let your 5-year-old son go outside alone because, as you say, he's a 5-year-old child, and I think that you indicated here that your son is autistic. And so I assume you didn't let him out by yourself, and you say he likes to climb on Drew's car and use the windshield as a slide.
Yes.
And you say here that that irritates Drew. Now, the 5-year-old can't get to the hood of the car, to the top of the car, unless somebody puts him there. So you say, well,
yes.
In October, while he was there and you were all sleeping in the same bed, our son again found his way on the top of Drew's car. Well, that must have been some good watching by his mother, and was using it as a slide. That's your sworn complaint. You say, I didn't want him to fall off, so I sat on the edge of the hood to catch him.
He would get at the very top of the roof. Yes, and he would tell me to sit.
That's what you said.
Yes. So I would sit on top of it, too.
Drew came out of the house and saw what was going on and became enraged. So he ran over to my car and jumped on it and slammed himself on him to pay for.
Yes, basically to pay
That's
for...
what your case is.
Yes.
No, that's what your case is. Yeah, forget it. You have a dent in the hood, live with it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, now you have a counterclaim because courts don't help stupid people. Children don't use a car as a sliding pond. Now, your counterclaim is that 3 weeks, then she kicked you out of the house.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your counterclaim is that she wrote on your car, I need child support, thanks.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you see her do that? Did you see that?
Physically? No, I have not,
Did you see her do it?
No, I did not physically see her do it.
And then you said she came to your place of employment and wrote something else on the hood dust of your car. Did you see her do that?
No, I did not, Your Honor. I was working currently at the time.
So the counterclaim is dismissed. So then we're finished with this ridiculous case. Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
What I'm telling you is you took a car at
sale.
Do you understand your problem?
No, I do not, Your Honor.
Next Judge Judy.
They both were out there on the car having fun. And of course, you know, that would make anybody angry.
It's okay. I guess I can see the hood and just see his butt imprinted on it.
I'm glad this was taken care of and now we can move on from it.
He does owe $2,300 in child support.
Whether or not I do is not relevant to this case at the moment.
Of course, we can be better parents.
Want to be there for my son.
You bought a 22-year-old car and you drove it, and then the transmission went kaflooey.
A frustrated buyer is geared up for a fight.
I believe that it was a dependable car, which is exactly what was written.
What I'm telling you is you took a car as is.
Is he just spinning his wheels?
The car does not run. This is a fraudulent sale.
Do you understand your problem?
No, I do not, Your Honor.
This is Judge Judy. Brian Epner is suing Janine Bender and her husband Tom Uhrig for a refund for a '98 Jeep Wrangler they sold to him.
Judge, this is case number 145 on the calendar in the matter of Epner. Have a seat, sir.
Mr. Epner, I'm going to go through what I get from your complaint, and I want you to tell me if I've said anything that is incorrect, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
According to your complaint, you were in the market for a second vehicle.
Correct.
What was your first vehicle?
2018 Nissan Rogue.
And who else drove that car?
That vehicle is driven by my wife.
Do you have children?
I have 2 beautiful children, 13 and 9.
And she drives the car primarily for herself and with the kids?
Yes.
Was that also your family's primary vehicle?
That is my family's primary vehicle, yes.
How long has it been your family's primary vehicle?
Since 2018, 2017.
And what kind of a car did you have before that?
Before that, I had a minivan and a Nissan Sentra. I also had a couple of Jeeps prior to that.
Okay, immediately prior.
Immediately prior, it was
Immediately prior was the one your wife drove with the children.
I still have that vehicle, yes.
Yes, you were looking for a second car, and prior to that, you drove a van.
A minivan, yes.
That was the family car.
Yes, it was a Chrysler Town & Country.
Okay, and both of those cars were automatic transmission.
Correct.
Okay, now, you looked for a second car, and what you found was a 22-year-old Jeep. You went to their house, and you looked at the car, and you test drove it.
Correct. I came with a friend of mine, a coworker. Sorry. Yes.
And you looked at the car, brought a friend, test drove it. Where did you test drive it?
Around the immediate area, which I had promised the...
For how long?
5 minutes, roughly.
How long did it take you to get from your home to the defendant's home?
I came from work. It was the middle of the day, so it took approximately 25 minutes.
So it took you 25 minutes also to get back with the car after you purchased it?
Correct, to my office, yes.
And you brought the Jeep back to your office?
Correct.
What's the distance between your office and your home?
I would say it's about a 15, 20-minute drive, 25 minutes in traffic.
Now, what day of the week did you pick up the car from them?
I picked it up on a Thursday. It was October 1st.
Did you go to work on Friday, October 2nd?
I did.
Did you drive the Jeep?
No, I did not.
What car did you drive?
I carpooled with my boss, which I do most of the time.
So on the 2nd of October, you carpooled with your boss, that you remember?
Yes.
Whose name is?
Stephen.
And if I were to call Stephen, he would check his calendar and see...
He probably wouldn't check his calendar. We do that every day.
Then what did you need a second car for?
For the occasions once in a blue moon where we don't carpool, and also for some errands around the neighborhood for family errands.
So you carpooled with your boss, and then there was a Saturday and a Sunday.
Yes.
At some point, you're going to tell me which day, you went to put gas in the car. On what day was that?
So what happened was...
No. On what day did you go to put gas in the car?
I believe it was the Saturday. So that would be the 3rd, October 3rd.
And when you went to put gas in the car, you had some difficulty, according to your complaint. And I filled the tank with gas, and then the Jeep wouldn't move. That's what you said, when you filled the Jeep up with gas.
It was not.
A couple of days later, you said in your complaint that you swore to, a couple of days later, I filled the tank with gas, and then the Jeep wouldn't move.
That's not what I signed. I filled the tank with gas. I drove it to my home.
You didn't say that, sir. I'm just telling you. I have your complaint that I can show you that you signed today, and it says, a couple of days later, I filled the tank with gas. Then the Jeep wouldn't move.
Yes, there was...
I ended up pushing it to a spot near...
It's nuanced,
and swore to
correct. Yes, I swore to it. It is correct. The nuance is that there was a 5-minute period between putting in gas and going 4 blocks to my apartment complex.
Okay, so after you put in gas, the car actually drove.
It drove, yes.
It drove. We're going to get there eventually, Mr. Epner, because what you're alleging is that they sold you a car, which they couldn't do in your state, because the car, after you had it examined by a mechanic when it stopped running, had transmission problems.
Well,
That's what you wrote here.
The car doesn't run, and the mechanic who I've brought here
Just
with
a
me
second.
Today, yes.
I don't care what the mechanic says.
Okay.
You say it has transmission problems. Is your mechanic going to say anything different?
No, he is not.
Fine. It had transmission problems.
Correct.
And from that, you conclude that the car, because it had transmission problems, couldn't pass a new smog test unless you fix the transmission, and therefore the sale is illegal. That's what your complaint says.
Correct.
However, Mr. Repner, this is your problem. You bought a 22-year-old car that, according to the defendants, and I have no reason to doubt them, and neither do you purchased the car on the 1st of October. In June...
That was not presented to me, and that was not... I don't know how it did
Well,
that.
then, just a second.
Okay.
Do you have proof that your car passed a smog test in June? That's what you say.
We
Hello?
couldn't find the receipt for that. We thought it was in the glove compartment of the Jeep.
Okay. Did you register the car?
Yes. Yes.
What was the last day the car was registered?
June
The car
2020.
had to be smogged in order...
Right.
So when you bought the car, it had been registered.
According to the
You
ad...
bought a registered car.
According to the ad, it says the
No,
tags, and
you
according
bought-
to the conversation...
Mr. Repner, the car was registered. These two people did not sell you an unregistered car, so the car was registered.
Okay.
They said it was in June. And since they, in their state where you live, could not register a car unless it was smogged, they had the car smogged. If you follow what you just said to me, you test drove the car, you drove it for at least an hour. You drove it 25 minutes from their house to your office. You drove it then 25 minutes from your office to your home. You may have done an errand or two in between, but you drove it for at least an hour because you also took it on a test drive. And the car was running.
The car was
The
running?
car ran.
It was,
The car was running.
shifting.
And it had been smogged.
I don't know that.
And you bought it, well, I do, because you bought a registered car.
I don't
and if
have...
you didn't, and you brought a friend with you to look at the car outside, and you can check the VIN number and see when the last time that car was registered. There's no question that they had this car registered and smogged. When did you purchase this
Your
car?
Honor, if I can...
Mr. Bender? Yeah, you can do whatever you like. You bought a 22-year-old car and you drove it, and then the transmission went kaflooey. That's what happened. You drove it.
The issue, Your Honor, if you allow me for a second, I just want to mention that there's no way for me to prove that it was smogged, that it had a smog certificate. If you allow me to present from the California DMV on their website, I brought it today to show you.
No, just show me from the VIN number of your car, sir.
The VIN number of my vehicle, which is on the title, which I have.
Yeah, the VIN number.
I will replace.
Right.
Okay, the VIN number on the vehicle is 1J4179.
Good. You bought a 22-year-old car that was running and, as far as you know, registered. Now I'm going to go back to the defendants again because I wanted to ask you this question. When did you purchase this car, this Jeep? In what year, if you remember?
I think it was 2008.
So you purchased a car when it was 10 years old?
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay. And you had the car exclusively, the two of you, from 2008 until the time you sold it to him?
Exactly.
Okay. With whom was the car insured?
General.
Was this the only car you had?
No.
How many cars do you have?
2.
Were both cars insured by Western General?
Yes.
Yes.
Did you use both cars?
Yes.
Every day.
Can you tell me on what date you canceled the insurance on the 1998 Jeep?
It was after the sale. It was a couple weeks after Brian had taken it.
Do you understand your problem?
No, I do not, Your Honor. I understand that I bought a vehicle, and if you allow me to just state, I have no proof it was registered.
You have 30 seconds.
Okay, I have no proof it's registered. Okay. I don't have a smog certificate. According to the California DMV, if I sell my car, do I have to get it inspected first? This is from the frequently asked questions on the California DMV website. Yes, if you are selling your car, you need to give the new owner a valid smog certification when you sell the car. I don't have a valid smog certification. I can't get one because the car does not run. This is a fraudulent sale.
You broke it.
No, I didn't.
You broke it.
I absolutely
you
did not.
drove it?
Because I brought it to my mechanic. If you allow me to bring up my mechanic, who would state that
What I'm telling you is you bought a 22-year-old car from people that you cannot disprove, unless you want me to waste my time calling their insurance company, which I guarantee you actually You have the telephone number of your insurance carrier on?
Yes.
Your Honor, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Having insurance, I have insurance on the vehicle also. Doesn't mean it runs, smogged, registered. They don't ask for anything.
Sir, you don't insure a car and pay for insurance on a car unless it's registered, and it can't be registered unless it's been smogged in your state.
Not, Your Honor,
Do you understand?
With all due respect, I have the car. I have insurance on the vehicle.
You bought
the day I bought the car.
No, you don't, sir. You only have to have insurance on a car if you're driving it. If you can't drive it because it's not registered and it's not insured because it hasn't passed smog, you don't carry or pay for insurance on it.
I did.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
Mr. DeFranco called the police and said that you were waving a gun at him. By the time you got out of jail, all of your stuff was over at your grandmother's house.
No, Your Honor.
Where was your stuff?
Brian Epner says Janine Bender and husband Tom Urig sold him a Jeep with transmission problems. He also claims it couldn't pass a smog test.
You bought a 22-year-old car.
Because I believe that it was a dependable car, which is exactly what was written on the ad.
What I'm telling you is you took a car, as is. I believe, based on the testimony, that these two people had the car registered and insured, which means that they had it smogged. You can't get it smogged because the transmission went, and you drove the car for at least an hour. At least, probably more.
Your Honor, that's...
We're done. We're done. We're finished. This isn't a back and forth. I've explained it to you. You don't want to accept it.
I acknowledge that I bought a 22-year-old car.
That's your problem. That's correct. We're done.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
I don't know what happened once it left our house because we drove it every day.
This is a fraudulent transaction with fraudulent people.
It was fine.
Owned it for 12 years and never had a problem.
Yeah.
Who are dishonest, and I can't say anything about that.
And I know exactly what happened. He put it in four-wheel drive to check it out.
No, it drove, and as I continued driving, I mean...
And he didn't back up. You got to take back up to take it out of the four-wheel drive.
Got a little sticky, and then it stopped.
And that's how he ruined the transmission.
Buyer beware. Don't trust people just because they seem like a nice, lovely couple.
Yeah, stand by the car. It's a sad situation, actually.
All parties in the matter of Baker versus DeFranco. Step forward.
Jason Baker is suing his former illegal lockout and stolen belongings.
All right, Mr. Baker, you were living rent-free in the defendant's house. And you have two claims, that he locked you out of the house where you were living rent-free, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the time that he locked you out of the house, Mr. Baker, you had, according to you, already packed half of a U-Haul because you were moving out. Yes, that's what you wrote.
Yes, Your Honor.
Perfect. And then you hadn't finished moving your things. You went out for a little while. And while you were out, it is your claim that Mr. DeFranco called the police and said that you were waving a gun at him,
Yes,
which
Your
was
Honor.
not true. And he did that because he knew you had an outstanding warrant for your arrest. So when the police pulled you over, they arrested you on an outstanding warrant. By the time you got out of jail, all of your stuff was over at your grandmother's house.
No, Your Honor. That's actually incorrect.
Where was your stuff?
The U-Haul was still MIA at that point. I had to call officers to the home because he had instructed his friends who were inside the home to hold possession of my two service animals.
All right, let me just read you what you wrote. Okay, so we'll refresh your recollection before I throw you out of here.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Well, that was pretty stupid. You know him for a very long time.
Yes.
And you know that he has some serious issues.
Yes.
I don't know whether you have some serious issues.
I think I do.
But I know that he has some serious issues.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jason Baker claims former landlord Justin DeFranco had him arrested, stole his belongings, and locked him out of the house. Justin is countersuing for a totaled car, vandalism, and U-Haul charges.
12 hours later, I was released and returned home. The U-Haul was gone, and I was locked out of the house. I eventually found the boxes of my things were dropped off at my grandmother's house. But the boxes had all been opened and repacked. Thousands of dollars of my property, including my Rolex, my laptop, and my expensive shoe collection were gone. Justin also refused to release my 2 service animals. That's what you wrote.
I believe, Your Honor, that I might have wrote some things due to the fact that I have been under some serious health conditions. I just got out of the hospital after a week's stay. I do have a heart condition. I'm not able to recollect certain things due to the fact that I do black out.
Well, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do, Mr. Baker. I don't like to deal with somebody who is not where you came from. And I'm dismissing your case without prejudice so you can go and get yourself better, and then you can cogently present your case if you're not feeling well. Do you understand?
I feel fine to continue today if we can.
Well, then, I'm going to ask you, you just signed today this sworn complaint that I read to you. There was a whole different scenario than what you just gave me. And you said you did that because you didn't feel well.
It wasn't supposed to state boxes. There was supposed to be some...
Mr. Baker, you don't have
wording
a case.
adjustment?
Mr. Baker, you don't have a case against him. You paid no rent. I don't know whether you liked each other, whether we lived each other like an old married couple, but I decided it was time to leave because we were arguing all the time. You left. Did you call the police and say that he was waving a gun at you?
I never called the police during this whole incident. Not once.
What proof do you have that he called the police, Mr. Baker?
I have no proof other than what the officer asked me at the time.
Don't tell me what the officer said to you, sir. So you have no proof that he called the police?
No, I have no proof.
Okay, very good. And you had no lease with him, and you were moving out of the house with a U-Haul, so we didn't illegally lock you out.
I actually have proof that Mr. Franco wrote a letter stating that I would be able to reside in the home rent-free upon the voucher approval from housing that I was waiting for.
Mr. Baker, on December 5th, 2018, the rented U-Haul was partially packed. You packed it.
From the storage.
But I still had belongings. You were moving out.
No, the U-Haul was packed from a storage facility. I had packed nothing from the home.
What was the U-Haul doing in front of the house?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
What was the U-Haul doing in front of the house?
Mr. DeFranco had rented the U-Haul.
For what?
Because I had to move from my storage facility.
Okay, goodbye. We're done. You and I are done. Now, since you feel well enough, we're going to deal with his counterclaim, which is for what nonsense, Mr. DeFranco?
I helped Mr. Baker out with getting him a car.
Well, that was pretty stupid of you.
It was.
Well, that was pretty dumb.
100%.
You know him for a very long time.
Yes.
And you know that he has some serious issues.
Yes.
I don't know whether you have some serious issues.
I think I do.
But I know that he has some serious issues. So why you would co-sign for a loan on a car for him, I have no idea.
Me neither.
And how old are you?
I don't know.
You don't know how old you are?
I'm 29.
29. I'm the same thing on one side. We're done.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy, an explosion of anger shakes a neighborhood.
You body Englishing her all the way back onto her property, screaming in her face. That's what I saw. Uncivilized behavior.
Judge Judy.
He wasn't like this prior to us. Prior to this.
The fact is, I needed help. Mr. DeFranco needed help.
He seemed normal, and he needed help.
Both of us together decided that we could help each other.
Mr. Baker is a sociopath. He is delusional, and he thinks people are stalking him.
I feel there are certain things that have been done to me by Mr. DeFranco that I was hoping to get out into the air.
He's very ill.
Some of the things include harassment, stalking. I got roses yesterday, actually, after getting out of the hospital.
Yeah, he's delusional. He really is.
But his main concern was that I was here today, so I'm here.
We already got a restraining order against him, so he can't contact me.
Actually, I do kind of miss my friend.
Basically, come anywhere near me, so.
I was hoping that we could get past this, but apparently we can't.
Definitely separate ways.
I don't think there's any forgiving of this one.
It was menacing.
An explosion of anger shakes a neighborhood.
You body Englishing her all the way back onto her property, screaming in her face. That's what I saw.
But you have to explain nobody. Move your car.
If someone is damaging my car, I'm not going to allow it.
Does rage run in their family?
Uncivilized behavior.
This is Judge Judy. LaShawn Oliver is suing her neighbor, Tyler Deku, for an assault during a dispute over parking.
Judges case number 130 on the calendar in the matter of Oliver versus Deku. Parties have been sworn in. Ladies, have a seat, please.
Miss Oliver, how long have you been living in your house?
Since 2012.
Who else lives with you?
My son and my daughter, they reside with me.
Do you own your home or do you rent it?
I rent an apartment.
Does the apartment come with a parking space?
Yes, ma'am.
Within the unit?
Within
the complex?
Correct.
This case is about a dispute over parking. You and or your father live across the street from the plaintiff, is that right?
Yes.
Do you live with your father?
Yes, Your Honor.
Who else lives with your father?
I have 2 younger brothers and my mother.
And when did you move into your, is it an apartment or a house?
It's a house, but we also rent, and...
Your houses are across the street from each other.
Yes.
Your case is about an alleged assault that took place, and you are alleging that the defendant, in a dispute over how you parked your car...
Yes, Your Honor.
...came to your home and instigated a fight where she assaulted you, and you want to be compensated for that.
Yes, Your Honor.
The defendant says she came over merely to have a chat, and it was actually you who threatened her and began what turned into a confrontation, which resulted in the police being called. Does anyone have a diagram or a photograph that I can look at of how these properties are so that I can see the parking space that we're talking about? Because what I understand, Ms. Deku, from what I understand, the plaintiff parks her car in the street in front of her unit. Your father also parks his car across the street from where he lives.
Yes.
On the same side of the street as where the plaintiff lives.
Yes, he does occasionally.
How occasionally?
Every once in a while. We all have our own vehicles, so we may need to park on the street sometimes, but it's a public street, so, you know, it's right in front of our house or right in front of someone else's home, but it's still on the street. We don't block anything. So.
Got it. So on the same side of the street as where plaintiff lives, but plaintiff was also parking her car in that same area, and your problem was with her, as you indicated in your papers, that she was parking too close to your father and therefore making it very difficult to get in and out, and someone,
no, not
according
exactly.
to you, had seen, well, tell me exactly.
Basically, Your Honor, she would park literally her bumper on top of our front bumper. So she's bagging up, and it wouldn't be not a space, not an inch, nothing. Her bumper was literally damaging my father's.
Touching, well, that's what I said. I said you're parking too close to your father's car. Now, that's why I wanted to see a photograph. Was there any reason why someone would have to park that close?
I really don't know. We asked her to move it.
Okay. Do you have photographs or
I do have video.
Diagram for me to look? I'd like to see it.
Okay.
I'd like to see what you're telling me. Do you have a diagram
I have a
photograph for me to see?
I have a still photo, but it's not pretty clear. I wanted to double check if it's clear for you, Your Honor.
Okay.
I have one.
That doesn't help me much. I have to see without people. I just want to see at this point.
It's the car's a red vehicle is my vehicle, and the gray vehicle on that side is their vehicle. But the video that I have, it does show the actual space and how everyone was parked at the time of the incident.
I'm going to show it to
you.
you.
I'd like to see that.
Okay.
So stop looking for the photograph right now and watch the video.
Okay.
Get away from my door. What is the threat? That's not a threat. It's assault. Okay. Okay, did I do it? It don't matter. Did I do it?
So if you watch behind where she's speaking, that's where the vehicles are parked.
Well, so I can't see. So there is a driveway there.
I did, though, so now what? But I did, so now what? And I'll do it tomorrow. And I'll do it the day after that. Just get off our car. If you don't want nobody at your door, stop being a disrespectful, bitter. Anyway, back up. I still keep walking up on y'all. 6 feet distance because I'm a pepper spray you next time you see me. Go get it. Go get it. Yeah. Go get it. But you ain't spray nobody. Move your car. 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 You don't have to touch your other people's car. you move your car. Move your car and I'll leave you alone.
Okay, I figured that that's what it was. Now, the red car belongs to whom?
That's my vehicle, Your Honor.
And the gray car belongs to whom?
That's ours.
Okay, so what I see, Miss Oliver, is that it looks to me as if you are parking in a cutout where people have to move in to get to their cars.
Yes, Your Honor.
Correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, just a second. Miss Deku, I'm not excusing your behavior.
No, I understand because I'm
not excusing your behavior.
Yeah,
I'm going to finish watching the video. I'm not excusing your behavior.
No, I understand. I shouldn't have acted the way I did.
You shouldn't have? You think so? Is there any more to the video that you want to show me?
The second video that is shown on there, it shows how the assault, but the battery, where her mom actually makes the first contact with my daughter.
Is the other woman in the video that I saw before your mother?
Yes.
So you came from across the street to tell her to move her car?
Yes, I went to knock on her door.
Now, can I see the cars again? Can I see the cars again? Is there a car parked behind your father's car?
A car parked behind.
Is there a car parked behind the gray car? So why didn't he just back up?
Because there's someone's house. It's someone's driveway.
But why didn't he just...
He couldn't move. He was in the correct space. She wasn't.
Just a second.
Yeah.
No, I know she wasn't in the correct space, but what I asked you was, what was the reason for the confrontation?
He couldn't
if your
move.
Father
If he would have moved
wanted
back
to get,
a little
listen,
bit, he would have been in someone else's.
Listen carefully to what I'm saying. Was he leaving?
No.
Was he going out? So all he had to do, in order to prevent this confrontation, she was parking in the wrong spot, but if he wanted to leave, it wasn't a question that he couldn't leave. He pulls back because there was nobody there because it was a driveway. So it wasn't as if his car was being held captive because she was an inch too close. He could have backed out and easily just left. So what I want to know...
Why would he leave? That's what was confusing. We weren't ready to go.
No, he didn't have to leave. No, listen. I'm not saying he had to go. Stop looking quickly. Try to open up your mind. When he had to leave, whenever that was, her car wasn't interfering with him. They could have had her car towed because it was parked in the driveway. But when and if and whenever, on what day, at whatever time your father wanted to leave, all he had to do was pull back, was blocking him from leaving.
Though, ma'am. Your Honor, that wasn't the issue. The issue was her car was putting damage on my father's. It wasn't about us leaving.
Show me the damage. Just a second. Show me the damage to your father's car.
No problem.
Show me the damage to your father's car.
No problem. One moment. Let me find the pictures for you.
I see I don't have a counterclaim. Shh. Just, I'm going to look at the rest of your video in a minute. Nothing is... Yes.
Okay. You can literally see my father's bumper is being pushed down. There's no space in between. And it's not the first time. This is the second time. His whole bumper is being cracked. It's being cracked. There's no space in between. This is all damage.
No, I see this. No, I don't see any damage that her car caused to your father's bumper.
The bumper is literally, like, being pushed down. This is not supposed to have space in between the car and the light. There's not supposed to be space.
What I'm telling you is I don't see that her car did that damage.
Okay.
I don't see that her car did that damage.
If she don't see it, it's fine. Okay.
I mean, I don't see it. I see that there's damage to this gray car, a couple of spots where it's damaged, but I don't see her car at that height doing that damage to the car, unless you have a video that you want to show me.
I do have video. I have more pictures, and I also have a witness here.
So the incident happened on what day?
July 23rd.
Okay. Since July 23rd, has your father filed any claim against the plaintiff for damage to his car?
No, he sold the car.
Just a second. So the answer is your father has not filed a claim against her for damage to his car.
No, because we sold the car.
I don't care whether you sold the car. That's up to you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Didn't you ever hear of COVID screaming in her face?
If you didn't want to catch COVID and you don't want someone yelling in your face, I wouldn't come outside and get near them.
Something wrong with you. What do you do for a living?
I own my own charity.
You own your own charity?
Yes, I do.
This will be a great ad for you.
LaShawn Oliver claims neighbor Tyler Deku assaulted her during an argument over parking.
Okay, now I'm going to see the rest of the video. because I have no counterclaim here. I have what looks to me like a very hot situation that was precipitated by the defendant.
Would I be able to present my video?
Absolutely love to see a video after I see hers. Right now, I see you and your mother on her side of the property, and you body Englishing her all the way back onto her property, screaming in her face. That's what I saw. I did a lot of foul-mouthing and menacing kind of behavior by you, not by her. So if you have another video for me to see, I'd be more than happy to see it. In your turn. Go. Let's see. Miss Oliver, let me see the rest of the video.
Yes, Your Honor.
Who is that man?
My father. Him and my mother were trying to stop me.
So your father is going towards her apartment?
No, I was towards her apartment.
He was
trying.
No, I just asked who the man was. I didn't know who the man was. So now you have you and your father at her apartment.
Yes.
It's a threat. That's not a threat. It's assault. Okay. Okay, did I do it? It don't matter. Did I do it? You're not going to jail. You that scared? No. Exactly. Yes, you are. You are. I wouldn't be standing here if I was scared of you. Bitch, you have to bang on your door. What are you talking about? Don't come to my door. It don't matter. I already did, so now what? Don't come to my door. I did, though, so now what? But I did, so now what? And I'll do it tomorrow. And I'll do it the day after that. Just get off our car. If you don't want nobody at your door, stop being a disrespectful old. Anyway, back up. I still keep walking up on y'all. What you want to do? 6 feet distance because I'm a pepper spray.
This happened this year?
It happened last year, July 23rd, 2020.
Didn't you ever hear of COVID?
Yeah, she...
Ever hear of COVID screaming in her face? Didn't you
Okay, she
ever
came
hear about
outside.
that
She had a choice to not come outside, ma'am. If you didn't want to catch COVID and you don't want someone yelling in your face, I wouldn't come outside and get near them.
Something wrong with you. What do you do for a living? What do you do for a living?
I work for a nonprofit organization, and I do music. I'm an entrepreneur. I own businesses. I own my own charity.
You own your own charity?
Yes, I do.
This will be a great ad for you.
I was angry, and she was extremely disrespectful. When it comes to my parents, all of that good stuff goes thrown out of the window. I'm sorry. I'm not happy about it. I'm not saying...
You came to her house.
You're right. And her car was on my car. Exactly. That was the reason. I have probable cause for the reason I acted the way that I did. If someone's car, if someone is damaging my car, if someone is damaging my car, I'm not going to allow it.
They're going to cut off your mic, not mine.
That's fine.
Do you understand?
I don't.
You don't talk over me. So if you tell me that you have probable cause, I would love to take a look at your law degree.
You don't have to have a law degree to have
If you're telling me you had probable cause to go over...
You just have to have a law degree to actually...
Well, you have to know what probable cause is. If you think that somebody touching your father's car...
That's not probable cause.
Why
don't you? It's not touching it, it's damaging it. If someone comes in your home, hitting your door with something, are you going to not try? Are you going to allow it to happen? Exactly.
I want to know what kind of charity you have.
What did she say?
You said you had a charity.
Why does that matter?
I would just like to know. I asked you what you did for a living.
No, it has nothing to do with the
know.
case. It has nothing to do with the case.
All right. Do you have a photograph of her touching you or a video of her touching you?
Well, towards the end of it, you see where the mother pushes, and then the actual still shot is where my daughter dropped her phone.
I would like to see it.
See, at this point, she, right before this...
Exactly. And it's on your video.
So if you rewind it...
I would be wary of that charity.
Okay,
that
part right there.
That was why I didn't tell you.
So
continue.
I would like
get smart. I'm here.
I would like to see any bills that you have or a doctor's report of the injuries that you sustained.
So I did not go to the hospital, but I did have injuries to my eye from her kicking me.
Okay. Do you have a photograph
Can
of
you
that?
prove that I kicked you in that altercation? Because if you can't, then it probably wasn't because of me.
Bird, put her out.
Ma'am, step out.
Okay.
Thank you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Gosh.
My son and my daughter have their vehicles, and they were...
Oh, well, but then you can't do that. You have to drive a little bit further to find a parking space, Miss Oliver.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. LaShawn Oliver is accusing neighbor Tyler Deku of assaulting her during an argument.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so... I do have testimony that I requested from the court and the police report also. It states that my daughter witnessed him choking me.
No,
The father.
Just a second.
Yes, Your Honor.
Just a second.
True.
I asked
He's not
you.
here to defend himself.
Is she talking? Are you talking?
I was.
Out.
Out. Okay. To lie on someone that's not here. My husband's not here. He did not choke her.
Out. It makes my life much simpler. I asked you if you had any medical reports. You said no. You showed me a photograph. Fine. You spoke about other testimony. Was there a criminal proceeding?
No, Your Honor.
In what other court did you have a proceeding?
I requested a protective order.
You had a hearing on a protective order. You filed a
Ms. DeCout, her mother, and her father.
Was it denied?
The mother and father's protective order was denied, but the court left standing the 3-year protective order against Ms. DeCout.
Against this defendant?
Correct.
I can understand that. It's a very, very unfortunate situation, Miss Oliver. And, Miss Oliver, you do understand that I don't condone that kind of uncivilized conduct, which it was. Coming over to you, screaming at you, coming to your house, which I know that they did, which is outrageous and can be frightening. You do know it all started because you were parking in the wrong space.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, there would appear to me to be no reason why you would park in the wrong space, not a wrong space, but actually park so that you were inhibiting other people from comfortably getting in and out of their garage spaces. From the video you showed me, you were a full car length into the driveway. Is there any reason why you didn't park in your garage?
My son and my daughter have their vehicles, and they were...
Oh, well, but then you can't do that. You have to drive a little bit further to find a parking space, Miss Oliver.
Absolutely, Your Honor.
Well, that's a very, very good idea because these people damage your car, and you won't know how it happens. At least you won't be able to prove it.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Are you the victim of an assault? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Now, I don't believe that you caused any of the alleged damage to his car that she showed me. In any event, they don't have the car anymore. They sold it, and they sold it without bringing any sort of a lawsuit against you for damage, which suggests to me that damage issue was a whole lot of who shot John. They behaved badly, and I'm not sure that the injuries that you were alleged happened to your eye as a result of her kicking you in the eye actually happened that way. I get those red spots in my eye all the time. If it was a result of being kicked, there would be some sort of bruise someplace else. In any event, I don't think that she had the right to come over and confront you. I don't think that incident is worth whatever you're suing for, which is $4,000. But in order to teach her a lesson, I'm awarding you $500. That will make a statement that you got an order of protection, but her conduct was such that it was frightening and it was menacing, and she's not allowed to do that. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $500.
Thank you,
We're
Your
finished.
Honor.
Thank you.
This case is concluded in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy...
She said the shotgun is with my son who lives in Oklahoma City.
I sold it. I think that you're a fibber.
That would be a fair assessment.
Don't cross your arms. There's only one attitude here.
Next Judge Judy.
Well, I felt it was fair. I just wanted someone to see exactly what was demonstrated. I hope that we just go on with our own separate lives. Time to find another parking spot.
During this short engagement...
Let me stop you for a minute.
Don't stop me ever.
An ex shoots his mouth off over a missing firearm.
She said the shotgun is with my son who lives in Oklahoma City.
Or did you lie to him?
I lied to him.
Where is it?
I sold it.
And dishonesty will always misfire.
I think that you're a fibber.
That would be a fair assessment.
Don't cross your arms. There's only one attitude here.
This is Judge Judy. Leslie Orm is suing his ex-fiancée, Lori Mosley, for an unpaid loan and for the value of a shotgun.
Judges, case number 136 on the calendar in the matter of Orm versus Mosley. Parties have been sworn in.
Fiancé.
That is correct.
you were engaged from when to when?
July 4th of 2018 to approximately the third week of November 2018.
So we're talking, sir, about 2 years ago for about 4 months.
Yes.
And the thrust of your lawsuit is, during that 4-month period, 2 years ago, you made a loan to the defendant, or actually 2 loans, one for a trip that you were supposed to take, which she decided she didn't want to take, a cruise, and that was for $300 for the deposit that she put down on that.
That is correct.
And then, yeah, I know. Don't get so excited, sir. You've lived without this money for 2 years, and you may live without it for a little longer. And the other $800, Mr. Orm, is for money that you claim that you loaned to her for 2 airline tickets for her son and daughter-in-law to join you, the 2 of you, on a trip to Florida that the 2 of you decided to take in lieu of the cruise that was canceled and on which you lost the $300 deposit. So far, that's part of your lawsuit. Am I right?
Yes.
I just don't want the folks out there in the television world, and it is certainly not the trial of the century. The next part of your lawsuit, Mr. Orm, is that 2 years ago, during this very short engagement that you had...
Well, let me stop you for a minute.
Somehow... No, don't stop me ever. And during this short engagement that you had, somehow the defendant came into physical possession of a shotgun that belongs to you, and you want it back. You've managed to somehow live without it for the last 2 years, and part of what I'm going to ask you is what makes you miss it so much now. So I have a couple of questions. Since I pretty much outlined the lawsuit, and you wanted to comment on something that you thought I misread in your complaint, you want to tell me what that was that you wanted to comment on?
You know, to be honest, I lost my train of thought on that one here.
Right, that happens to me.
Right. to your question about...
So the answer is, just a second.
Okay.
To my question about, what was my question? I said, what was it that you wanted to disagree with was my question. And if you said nothing,
right,
then
correct.
I'm going to continue my questioning of you. Okay, so since November of 2018, just for my own information, have you been in the military or traveling outside the United States?
I've been in the States.
Have you been, since November of 2018, incarcerated?
No.
So now my question to you is, why, Mr. Orm, during a planet-wide pandemic, 2 years later, all of a sudden you're missing the shotgun and this $1,100 or so that you claim she borrowed from you 2 years ago?
That's a good question. So what happened is that she had shared with me that she was going to be moving to Washington State for one reason or another. So at this point in time, I had asked, well, since you're going to be moving, what about getting this various stuff back? And she said, well, you know, the shotgun is with my son, Brandon, who lives in Oklahoma City. And I was like, okay, well, what can you do to get that back?
Mr. Orm, on what date did you have that conversation with her? And if you don't remember the exact date, give me the month and year that you had that conversation
just recently,
with her.
Right here.
Okay.
Those are the text messages.
Were you still in a relationship with her?
No.
After November of 2018?
No.
How did you find out that she was moving?
We would text and talk back and forth, just meager basis, I guess, for lack of a better term. And that's when she had shared with me that she was moving out of her current residence due to she's being forcibly asked to move. So at that point in time, I figured, okay, now's a good time, because I didn't know she was going to be moving. I figured as long as my property and stuff is there, we're fine. But then when she said she's going to move...
property. You're talking about your shotgun. That's the only property that's part of this.
Yes.
That's the only property that's part of this.
Well, I could, I do have a ring that I could go, but, that is neither here nor there, with the
you're
broken...
talking about an engagement. You're talking about an engagement ring.
Yeah, I could go. That's kind of a mute issue. I could go after that, but I'm not. I'm not looking to, be petty here or anything like that.
Mr. Mr. Orm, that you would get back.
Okay.
Mr. Orm, the engagement ring, if you sued for it, you would get back.
Okay.
Because that's the law.
Right.
An engagement is a contract to marry. If the marriage doesn't take place, irrespective of who calls off the wedding, you're entitled to the engagement ring back. But you didn't sue for that. That you would have actually gotten back. And this could have been a short case, more complicated. Okay, now I'm going to see the text messages, and you're talking about text messages from November of this year.
Yes.
About the shotgun. That's what I want to see. You say, how am I going to get my shotgun back from you before you leave? She says, well, I have to get it from Brandon. I assume that's your son. He took it to clean up the rust and stuff on the barrel. Okay. How would it have rusted unless you had said it had rust on it when you left it here? Oh, okay. Is there anything else on there?
No, that was...
That was it. Okay.
Right.
Miss Mosley, Miss Mosley, you have to pay careful attention. Your answer to him suggests that you left it there. That's what you said in your text.
Left it at my old residence, or?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Left, just pay careful attention.
Okay.
I read the text. I don't know whether you did. He said, how am I going to get my shotgun back? You said, my son Brandon took it because it had rust. Okay. And how am I supposed to get, because that was the question. You responded to him, it had rust when you left it here. You didn't say it had rust when you gave it to me. You said it had rust when you left it here. You were responding to him. So the shotgun is with your son Brandon in Oklahoma City?
No, I actually...
Is that right?
No.
Where is it?
I sold it.
Listen to me. I'm not liking, you see, the answers so far that you're giving me. I'm not liking them. Do you understand?
Yes.
And you don't want, you have a son, a daughter-in-law, you have grandchildren?
Yes.
You don't want to be made foolish. The shotgun, according to what you said to him, was with your son Brandon.
Yes.
Brandon, I assume, lives in Oklahoma City.
He does.
And you do not live in Oklahoma City.
No, I don't.
So if what you just started to say to me was, I sold it, that means that either you sold it or you directed Brandon to sell it, or else Brandon got it back to you somehow by mail, unlikely, and you sold it from where you were. Well, you live where? In Los Angeles, in California, in Washington? Where do you live?
Currently, I live in Washington.
Okay, so now I gave you all those options. Where was it sold? In Oklahoma City or in Washington?
Oklahoma City.
Or did you lie to him?
I lied to him.
That you gave it to Brandon?
Yes.
You lied to him?
Yes.
That you gave it to Brandon?
Yes.
Well, now you just said to me you sold it in Oklahoma City. Well, that would be where your son lives. So explain to me how you sold it in Oklahoma City.
Sorry, Your Honor. I did not sell it. I was still living there.
Okay, just a second. Just a second. Just a second. So then you just lied to both of us.
Well, I lied to him because...
I just want to know, you lied...
Yes,
Right,
I'm
you
sorry.
lied to me,
Yes.
too. You said you lied to both of us. You lied to him and you lied to me.
Yes.
Right? Okay. You placed a value, sir, of $500 on the shotgun. Is that right?
Correct.
Because the alleged loans you made, which I'll get to in a moment, were $1,100. So you placed a $500 value on the shotgun. You're going to get it, Mr. Orm, because I don't like people who lie. And I really don't know what she did with the shotgun. But clearly, based upon the text, she had no right to do anything with it. And I think she's being a wise person. I say that in an unflattering way.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I don't believe anything that you say to me. I think that you're a fibber, to him and to me.
That would be a fair assessment.
Just a second. Don't cross your arms. There's only one attitude here.
And later today...
The fact that your sister says my sister doesn't have any money, so you can't get blood from a turnip, doesn't mean you're not responsible for her car being totaled.
Ex-fiancé Lori Mosley owes for a loan and for selling his shotgun without his permission.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to get to is the money that you gave her. And $300 was for a cruise that you were supposed to take together.
Correct.
Correct?
Correct.
And from what I gathered from your statements, you were going to pay for the cruise just as you did pay for the trip to Florida. You were generous.
Correct.
You were going to...
It was supposed to be our honeymoon.
Correct. I didn't ask you anything. I don't believe anything that you say to me. I think that you're a fibber, to him and to me.
That would be a fair assessment.
Just a second. Don't cross your arms. There's only one attitude here. So you're not going to get the $300 back, Mr. Orm, because that's not a loan. Now, the other part of it was $800 to buy plane tickets for her son and daughter-in-law on this trip to Florida. We went to Florida as a family. So now I'm going to go back to the very basic question that I asked you, sir, which is, why wait 2 years? Or show me any text between March or April of 2019 and November of 2020 or October of 2020 when you asked her back.
Of that text. I do have the
No. I don't. Listen to me. Listen to me. I want what I want. I've crossed out the cruise. The cruise, you're not getting back. You were supposed to go there. You were going to pay for the cruise. The $300 was a deposit. You lost it. That she changed her mind is of very little value to me. No, don't tell me to hold on. Don't tell me to hold on. I asked you a question. My question is this. As I said to you, this is not a difficult case, sir. You're entitled to the money for your shotgun because I don't know where it is. I don't think you're going to get it back from her. So I'm giving you the full value of what you asked for the shotgun, which is $500. You're not getting the $300 for the cruise. And unless you have some text, email, or demand for the $800 that for the 2 plane tickets for her son and daughter-in-law, you're not getting that. So all you have to do is tell me.
I don't have that.
Well, then you waited too long. Since you weren't in jail, since you weren't in the military, since you weren't incapacitated, since you had every ability to sue her for the money from the time that you allegedly loaned her the money until today, I cannot find that waiting until there is a worldwide pandemic to sue her for something that happened years ago is...
And later today...
When did it start
It was raining the whole night, like all day.
So what did you go out for? Whole night, whole day, raining hard. What'd you go out for with your 2 children,
me and her,
8 and 4?
Kanisha
Listen, if it's raining that hard that you can't see and you're going 40 miles an hour, stay home.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Leslie Orm says ex-fiancée Lori Mosley owes for a loan and for selling his shotgun without his permission.
Okay, it happened when you were engaged to be married. You wanted to go away as a family. You wanted to impress her family. You were acting as a big sport. You're not getting the money back because it wasn't a loan, because you have no proof it was a loan. And I'm prepared to see any proof that you have where you say to her and she acknowledges, just pay attention, where you say to her and she says to you, I acknowledge this is a loan in the last year. And if you don't have any of that, sir,
I don't have that.
Then, okay, judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $500. Thank you very much. We're finished.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Well, I guess it's fair that, he gets money for a shotgun because I did sell that.
She was scared to death, so I said, hey, next time I come up, I'll bring you my shotgun to protect yourself.
He left it at my house for 2 years. Didn't want it.
No honeymoon. Then I should have got my money back.
Nope. Called it off. I found out what kind of control freak he was and said no way.
God, stay away from women.
It's time to go separate ways.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Davis versus Davis. Step forward.
23-year-old Kanisha Davis is suing her sister, Shamika Davis, for totaling her car and then fleeing the scene. Shamika is countersuing for damages she claims Kanisha caused to the car.
Ms. Davis, this is your sister. She borrowed your car. She had an accident, according to you, and your sister doesn't deny the fact that she totaled your car, and you want her to compensate you. Your sister says, well, she did total the car, but then you knew she didn't have any money, so that you made an arrangement with her that you could use her car whenever you wanted it, and so that you could save up to buy a new one. And then she has a ridiculous counterclaim that while you were using her car, you left it messy, which is going to be dismissed. I think I'll do that now, so save myself trouble. Now, tell me about when you borrowed your sister's car.
Me and my sister switched cars in October.
Why?
We were both moving at the same time, and I have a truck, so she was using my truck to move. We had each other's car for about 2 weeks before the accident.
And what happened with her car?
Well, me and her met up
I met on Halloween.
She and I met up together. to go trick-or-treating with the kids. She went her way with my truck, and I had her car. It was raining really bad that day. I went on the freeway to go home. I was going around a dead man's curb. This car tried to cut in front of me because I was going too slow because it was raining. I had a hit-and-run accident with her car.
Show me the police paperwork. Okay, so you had the accident. Were the police called?
Yeah, the police were called.
Fine. What kind of insurance did you have on your car?
I had liability insurance. It covers any car that I drive.
Were your children okay after the accident?
Yeah.
Okay. When did you purchase this car?
I bought it February 2013.
And this accident was when?
The day of Halloween, October 31st, 2013.
And how much did you pay for the car?
I paid $2,500 for the car originally.
And it's a 2003...
Dodge Stratus.
Would you look that up for me, please? 2003 Dodge Stratus.
Got it.
Car was totaled?
Mm-hmm.
Sedan?
4-door.
2100.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell me?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Go ahead.
Well, basically, I don't think I owe her a dime because we had a verbal agreement. She knew I couldn't afford to buy her another car at the time. So she asked me, can she borrow my car until she can get, money for another car, which I did. She had my car for almost a month. She was dropping me off everywhere. And she purchased another car. She had got a Grand Prix. And then within weeks, I guess it got repoed, and now she's trying to sue me for the car. Your Honor, that's not true.
Wait. Okay. The fact that your sister says my sister doesn't have any money, so you can't get blood from a turnip, doesn't mean you're not responsible for her car being totaled, because I don't have anybody's statement here except yours that you were hit by another car. As far as I know, you were going too fast and you spun out.
It was raining really bad that night. I was going slow. You're supposed to go 40 miles an hour.
When did it start
raining? It was raining the whole night, all day.
So what did you go out for? Whole night, whole day, raining hard. What'd you go out for with your two children, 8 and 4? Listen, if it's raining that hard that you can't see and you're going 40 miles an hour, stay home with your two children, age 8 and 4, who could have been killed in the car if you say it was that dangerous. And one thing I know for sure, it was not her. She's suing you for less than what she paid for the car. She's suing you for $1,500. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,500. Your nonsense counterclaim is dismissed, as I said before.
Thank you. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy, the virus held up her security deposit.
You want me to go to a walkthrough and infect somebody with COVID?
Send your mother. Send a friend. You're full of baloney.
Next Judge Judy.
I'm just upset that she didn't even give me a chance to tell her about the damages that were done to my car while she had it.
I'm happy. I think that it was fair. I think Judge Judy made the right decision.
The door panel was completely off, the alignment, and I had to get the brakes redone.
Honestly, it was a little messy. I didn't really mess up the door. It was already like that when I got it. There was nothing wrong with her Jeep that I did.
We don't talk at all anymore.
We don't talk, but, that's really it. Everything else is fine.
I hope we can be cool. Be sisters like we're supposed to be.
But she gives me a hug.
Wow.
You own
The virus held up her security deposit.
I missed the walkthrough because I had COVID symptoms.
Your Honor, he didn't even let us know.
It's irrelevant to this case that you had COVID.
Now, a landlord holds nothing back.
You want me to go to a walkthrough and infect somebody with COVID?
Send your mother. Send your father. Send a friend. You're full of baloney.
This is Judge Judy. Michelle Spaulding is suing her former landlord, Kirk Wilterding, for the return of her security deposit.
Justice case number 113 on the calendar in the matter of Spaulding versus Wilterding. Parties have been sworn in.
Ms. Spaulding, your case is a relatively simple one. It is your claim that the defendant owes you your security deposit back. You and your family rented a house from him?
That is correct.
He gave you a 60-day notice. You did, in fact, move out, and he retained $3,950 of your security.
That is correct.
So far correct? Okay, so Mr. Wilterding, I'm going to start with you, sir, The Spauldings rented your house. They gave you in security deposit $3,950,
Correct.
which you know you're supposed to keep segregated in a separate account. Do you know that?
I do know that, and it was
That's
segregated.
a yes? Good. And you can prove that to me if I needed it.
Sure.
Sure.
Yes.
In what bank did you keep it segregated?
I have it in a not a personal account.
What LLC do you have there?
Just my account.
$3,950.
My account. And I actually sent them a copy because they asked for it.
Then I'm just asking you, why can't you tell me what bank you have their $3,950 in?
It's Wells Fargo.
Okay. Let's proceed a little further. According to you, you had a girlfriend, you were moving to California, you lived in your house for a couple of years, then you moved with your girlfriend, then COVID struck, and you decided you wanted to move home. They were already living in the house, you gave them a 60-day notice. That's what you wrote in your answer and swore to. Do you remember that?
Correct.
Good. And they did, in fact, move out. And you made a date to come with them as a result of your 60-day notice. You made a date to do a walkthrough with them before they left, which is what people do when they have a rental property so that the people are moving out, say, this is what the place looks like, and you have an opportunity to look at and say, this is my damage, and I'm going to deduct that from your security deposit. You don't have to put anything anywhere. You weren't feeling well on the day of the walkthrough. That's what you wrote, correct?
Correct.
And according to you, you lost your sense of smell because you had COVID.
What does that have to do with the walkthrough?
Well, at the time you entered the house and regained your sense of smell. That's what it has to do with it. You said,
I didn't say
that
any
in your
of that.
answer.
You're just making that up. I didn't say any of that.
Okay.
I missed.
Really?
If you would like me to explain,
Just a second.
I missed. If I can
No,
explain.
I'm just looking at it. I may, just a second. I may have been mistaken, so I'm going to read your answer. You said, due to COVID-19, I decided to move back into my house. I gave them a 60-day notice, and they complied. Michelle asked for her deposit back on the day they moved out. I told her she had to wait for damage checks, but you already had a date for a walkthrough that you didn't go to. I started feeling ill, so I missed their walkthrough. That's your sworn statement, sir. I have your signature on it.
It says nothing about smell.
Soon after that, I moved back into my house. I got COVID-19. Following my doctor's instructions, I quarantined until I felt better. It took a full month before I was symptom-free. That's what you wrote. When I finally got my sense of smell back, I knew I wasn't crazy. I can't make that up.
30 days later?
The smell of dog was obvious. The smell of dog was obvious, and I needed to change the carpet and pad. That's what you swore to in your answer, sir, right?
I missed the walkthrough because I had COVID symptoms. You can see I have a letter from my... I didn't say that I didn't have smell.
I don't care.
And that's what...
No, just a second. You said...
30 days later.
You just said, I don't care, sir. You owe them $3,950.
No, I don't.
You missed the walkthrough.
There's more to the story. I missed the walkthrough because I was sick. I had COVID. So you want me to go to a walkthrough and infect somebody with COVID?
Send somebody in your place.
Your Honor, he didn't even let us know.
Send your girlfriend. So just a second.
I didn't have anybody available. It's a 2-hour drive. I have nobody available.
Send your mother.
No one.
Send
my
your
mother.
father.
My mother
Send
lives
a
in
friend.
Minnesota.
Hey, listen to me, sir. You're full of baloney because you lived in that house according to you
if you would like to, I came a long way. If you'd like to actually hear the story and I have evidence, why don't you let me talk?
Listen to me. It's irrelevant to this case that you had COVID. It is totally irrelevant to this case.
Why do I wear a mask then? We're not supposed to infect people. We're supposed to quarantine. Really? So Judge Judy says nobody has to quarantine. No.
How many times have you had COVID?
No.
I've had it twice.
No. Shh. No. Listen to me, sir. Listen to me. Don't talk over me. I wouldn't suggest.
Well, you're not letting me talk. Why am I here?
Personally,
you're not letting me talk. Why am I here? Why am I here?
You're here to pay $3,950 judgment for the plaintiff. That's it. Out. We're done.
This case has been...
Happy that the truth came out. He clearly showed his true colors.
Because my whole house smells like dog. My brand new house, 2,800 square feet of carpet, smells like dog.
And that was my total interaction with him the entire time that we were his tenants.
They had it cleaned, they put perfume on the carpet, and it stinks.
Everything that comes out of his mouth is a lie.
So I have 2,800 square feet of dog carpet. It's $6,500 to fix, so their measly deposit doesn't even cover it.
I'm glad I'm done with this nightmare and I don't have to deal with him anymore.
All parties in the matter of Roberts versus Patton. Step to the podium.
Charles Roberts is suing Bryn Patton for the return or value of a dirt bike.
Mr. Patton, I'm going to start with you, sir. Mr. Roberts had a non-running dirt bike, and you own a mechanic shop, and he asked you sometime last year if you could get the bike up and running.
Correct,
So far, correct?
Correct.
So I want you to understand that Mr. Roberts, who I haven't spoken to yet, looks like a reasonably intelligent man. And you came out and you looked at the bike for the purposes of giving him an estimate as to how much it would cost to get this non-running dirt bike up and running. So far, am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you did, in fact, give him an estimate of what you thought it would take to get the bike up and running, correct?
After we went through it, Your Honor, and diagnosed everything and did a complete workup on it.
No, at the house, before you took possession of the bike, he asked you for an estimate.
Which we cannot provide.
Did you give him?
No.
Well, what did you look at the bike at his house for?
Actually, we just went to pick it up to get it going for him.
Okay, great, great. So you went and picked it up. On what date did you pick it up? Do you recall, Mr. Patton?
I don't recall the exact date, no, ma'am.
Do you recall the month?
April or May of
Mr. Roberts, just give me the month that he picked up the bike.
It's unclear, and it's not documented. I believe it was March or April.
Say it was March in your papers.
That's my best recollection, Your Honor.
March of 2020. Okay, so you picked up the bike, Mr. Patton, according to you, and you took it back to your shop for a diagnosis and an estimate of what it would cost to fix it. And you didn't keep that estimate to yourself because you're in business. So you relayed that estimate to Mr. Roberts. What did you tell him it would cost to fix the bike after you diagnosed it? No, I don't want to hear the word basically or like or about. Now you...
Instructions
I'm
to
finishing.
complete
I'm giving you a question, sir. And what I suggest you do is a believable answer. If you don't, I assume you have family who are among the 9 or 10 million people who watch this program every day. I said to you at the beginning, Mr. Roberts is an intelligent person. If I took my bike or my car into a mechanic to be repaired, and they said I have to do a diagnostic, and they took the car to do a diagnostic, then they communicate with me as to what it will cost to fix it after they've done the diagnostic. So don't give me a lot of who shot John.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Now, I'm not believing you.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, I'm telling you the honest truth.
Your answer belies credulity, sir. Don't look slick to me, sir. I can tell slick. Don't think of what I'm saying to you.
And later today...
I loaned her $1,000. The night that the big fight went down, that she wound up leaving my house, she gave me $500 that night before she left.
Tell me how that happened.
She went out to her car, got the $500, came and handed it to me.
Is that the way it happened?
Charles Roberts says mechanic Bryn the dirt bike. Bryn is countersuing for a repair bill and storage fees.
What I'm asking you, sir, is after the diagnostic, what estimate did you give them?
We were given an order to fix the bike and get it running so that it was in proper running condition. He was leaving town.
You know, I don't believe... Just a second.
Okay.
Now, I'm not believing you.
Okay.
Mr. Patton, I'm not believing you, sir.
Well, unfortunately, I'm telling you the honest truth.
Your answer belies credulity, sir. It belies credulity.
Well,
Somebody had a non-working dirt bike and said, as you're quoted in your answer, whatever it costs to fix it, fix it. So now, since I don't believe you, I'm going to ask you a couple of other questions, because that's what this case is about. He wants his bike back, and you have a ridiculous counterclaim. Now, is the bike currently, don't look slick to me, sir, I can tell slick, don't think of what I'm saying to you. Is the bike currently running?
Yes, ma'am.
And is it currently in your shop?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, are you getting an appearance fee for coming to this program today?
Yes, ma'am.
How much?
To be honest, I do not recall. This is the third time this has happened, and each time things have been...
So you don't know. Whatever it is, you know it's something,
That's right.
Okay, good. So nothing better happened to this bike because they're going to hold whatever that appearance fee is until we make this exchange and we have a running dirt bike. Do you understand?
Absolutely.
Great. Now, originally you say he came out and looked and said maybe between $300 and $400. Okay, that's a good guesstimate. You know, that never is what it is. You never get charged exactly the top end of an estimate.
Right.
What you say to me is, in your complaint, is that in July, so we had March, April, May, June, now in July, Brian texted me, which you have, that the cost of the repairs had increased and would be $580. Do you recall texting him that figure, sir?
I texted
Mr.
many
Patton.
times. Oh, wait.
No.
I apologize.
Do you recall texting him that the bill, which originally you said would be maybe between 3 and 4, is now $580 in August? Do you recall saying that to him?
Yes.
Okay. We'll take a look at that text.
Here's the text. August 21st, he says, $580 plus tax.
Plus tax on parts. So say the repairs was $600.
Fair enough.
Right? Buyer, forget any other deal, $600 with the repairs then. And according to Mr. Patton's answer, Mr. Patton, I want you to listen carefully. You said I had the bike fixed within a few weeks. So that $580 plus tax on parts was a completed figure. That's what the figure was, $600, which was twice the lowest estimate that I believe that you gave him, but a couple of $100 more than the highest estimate. And according to you, you said to him, I kept asking Charles to pick up his property and pay his bill. He kept making excuses. When I told him it would cost $1,500, he complained. Why would it cost $1,500?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
we were arguing, and I was being told that I'm not thankful for anything that he does.
You were arguing. I want to know if you went out voluntarily and gave him $500 towards the $1,000 loan.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Charles owes for the return or value of a dirt bike. Bryn is countersuing for a repair bill and storage fees.
Now, why would it cost $1,500?
I don't recall why that I don't know how that conversation even occurred. I don't recall it.
You don't recall telling him that the cost was $1,500 now?
Charging him $1,500? I do not recall that. No, ma'am.
Did the person who wanted to buy the bike, because I'm looking at that text message, Mr. Patton, did the person who wanted to buy the bike, was that your son?
He's my son, yes.
Okay, and then he decided not to buy it?
Correct.
Did he use it?
No.
Did he ever ride it?
Yes.
How many times? Once or more than once?
During the
once or more than?
More than once.
More than 10 times?
No. And it's just not my
Between
son.
5 and 10
we have technicians that ride it as we repair things. They have to be test ridden.
No, I'm talking just about your son, sir, not about the technicians, just your son.
Oh, no, he only rode it one time, the first time that he was going to ride it. He wanted to see if he was going to buy it or not.
Okay, very good. All right, it's a relatively easy case, Mr. Roberts. You see, you didn't have to say anything. You have to give him $600. When you give him $600 and go and retrieve running order, because that's what Mr. Patton says, it's in perfect running order, and there are things that we will hold hostage in order to make sure that you get that bike in good running order for the cost of $600, which you think is fair, correct?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Very good. Very good. We're finished. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Well, I think it's a fair decision. It's a little frustrating because he quoted me $300 to $400 to repair the bike.
I believe it was a fair decision. I believe we kind of came here and got the answer we wanted.
Then the bill came back as $580, and then when I went to pick it up, he presented me with an invoice for over $1,000.
There was a dispute between the payment that he felt was owed and what we were charging.
I'm just like, this is a hostage situation. I'm not going to play that game.
All parties in the matter of Swenson versus Miller. Step to the podium, please.
Doug Swenson is suing his ex-girlfriend, Kathy Miller, for an unpaid loan.
Mr. Swenson?
Yes, ma'am.
According to your complaint, sir, the defendant was your girlfriend for a couple of years.
Yes, ma'am.
From when to when?
It was March of 2017, I believe, up until September of 2020.
And it is your claim that just before the breakup, you loaned her $1,000.
Yes, ma'am.
You had a bad argument sometime in
September 16th.
Showed up at my house unannounced about the money.
We could have the months.
But you broke up.
Yeah, it was in September.
In September, you broke up?
Yes, ma'am, on the 16th.
Okay. Did you go to her house to collect the money in October?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And you went to retrieve, according to you, the money she owed you?
Yes, ma'am. $500.
Hmm?
Yes, ma'am, the $500 that she owed me. That's why I went there.
Well, when did she give you any money towards the loan?
Okay.
I thought she gave you that money when you broke up.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by Real Cases, Real People. Judge Judy. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, you went to retrieve, according to you, the money she owed you.
Yes, ma'am. The $500 that she owed me. That's why I went there.
Well, when did she give you any money towards the loan?
Okay.
I thought she gave you that money when you broke up.
I loaned her $1,000. The night that the big fight went down, that she wound up leaving my house, she gave me $500 that night before she left.
She gave it to you. Look, listen to me. She gave it to you voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am. She said exactly what happened. She went out to her car, got the $500, came and handed it to me.
Is that the way it happened?
We were arguing, and I was being told that I'm not thankful for anything that he does because he came and helped me find the car. He knows about cars. So that night...
You were arguing. I want to know if you went out voluntarily and gave him $500 towards the $1,000 loan.
I did.
Did you do that?
Because he was putting it in my face.
Well, that's not what you said here in your answer, which is the only reason I'm hearing this case, because you said he blocked my car in so I couldn't leave. I had no choice but to give him the money. But that's not what you just told me.
That was the next day.
What do you mean that was the next day?
The next morning he came to my house.
I want to know when it was that you gave him the $500.
When he came to my house.
Not at his house.
No.
I don't believe either one of you. Actually, it doesn't make any difference. If you gave him the money, then you owe him the balance of $500, okay? And by giving him the $500, you acknowledge that you owed him $1,000, you gave him $500, you owe him $500. Oh, my God. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And on the next Judge Judy.
I guess it's fair.
I helped her out, and I felt she was very unappreciative.
Well, he gave me the money, and he said, don't worry about it.
We got in a huge fight. She wanted to leave my house in the middle of the night and stuff, and...
You know, don't take anything from anybody.
Yeah, I just, I wanted my money back.
Just do it on your own.
He invited you to come over to his apartment for the purposes of recording some music.
An off-key moment set the tone.
You know, he's talking trash, saying this and that. He was at his door with knives telling me to get out of his house. I picked my stuff up, I turned my back, and he started swinging on me.
And it ended on a bad note.
So I put my stuff back in the car and went back to his door and said, bro, please, my laptop's gone. Just give it back, bro.
Where's his computer?
This is Judge Judy. Ricky Jones Jr. is suing his former friend, Travis Grisham, for the value of a laptop computer and punitive damages for an assault.
Judge, this is case number 137 on the calendar in the matter of Jones versus Grisham. Parties have been sworn in.
Mr. Jones, the defendant was a friend of yours, and in November of this year, according to your complaint, he invited you to come over to his apartment for the purposes of that as a living or a hobby.
I do it as a living, miss. I love music.
I mean, recording it. Do you do it as a living?
Recording? I mean, I'm self-made in the game, so I have all my own stuff, but I love to record myself, and if anybody would love help, I mean, I don't mind helping. Does that make sense?
So you have your own recording? No, not really. So I'll make it simpler for myself. You know, my grandchildren try to keep it as simple as possible for me when we're dealing with things that I have no clue about. You don't have a regular studio where you record.
My studio is mobile, so, like, I don't have a place to...
You don't have a fixed place?
Yes, ma'am.
That you pay rent on?
Yes, ma'am.
So you have some of your own recording equipment. Did you purchase that recording equipment new?
Yes, Your Honor.
Just curious, what does equipment like that cost?
$8,000 to $10,000.
And when did you purchase it?
Around 2 months before this date has happened.
So sometime during the summer?
Yes.
Prior to that, what were you doing to record your music?
I was working very hard, saving my money, so I was able to afford the equipment that I was able to purchase.
What kind of work were you doing?
I was working in a warehouse, inventory control.
Do you live with family or do you have your own place?
Miss, I'm homeless.
Do you have a car?
Yes.
What kind of car?
I have a Mustang, 2003.
So all of your...
Mustang is at my wife's house, and my wife lives with her mom.
How long have you and your wife not lived together?
We've been on and off, but I have problems with my own family, and with her family doesn't really like me. So I'm kind of misunderstood.
And you don't live with your family?
No, ma'am.
Do you have children?
Yes, ma'am. I take very good care of my kids, too. And I have one on the way.
Well, then you must get together sometimes.
Oh, best believe we do. And everything's in the process. Nobody really knows what I'm doing, but it's a secret.
Not anymore. It is your claim that on this date in November, the defendant invited you over to his apartment for the purposes of doing some recording of music.
Yes,
Your
ma'am.
You also record music, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
But you don't have your own equipment?
No, ma'am. I don't.
Do you sing or play an instrument? What do you do?
I do both. I sing and I engineer.
And the equipment that you're talking about is not a guitar or a flute. It's
No, ma'am.
the engineering.
Engineering
it's
is
the
more
equipment
like...
that makes sound.
Basically, like, quality control, like sound. Like, basically, like, I fix the sound. Yeah.
So you sing and you operate the dials?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And do you sing?
I
play
rap.
An instrument? What do you do?
I rap and...
So you sing. Well, that's singing.
Yeah, I do, and I'm learning. So the only thing I don't have down is the engineering. I'm in the process of learning.
Good. I guarantee you'll learn it before I will. The mixing and mastering.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Anyway, tell me what happened when you got to his apartment.
I got to his place, I put my studio equipment in there, and I noticed my computer wasn't there. So I had to go meet up with my wife to pick up the computer. We picked up the computer, showed back up to the house, and right before we was going to set up the studio, he was telling me we should record in the living room, and I told him the living room has too much of an echo and that I would like to record in a room or a room that has, you know, stable sound that's not going to echo and mess up the quality of the sound. He got an attitude. I don't know if he was hating on my equipment or if he was thinking I was trying to tell him what to do up in his place, which I wasn't. I just wanted the best for my studio. You know, he started arguing with me, started getting loud with me, started saying he's a great engineer, this and that, started calling people on his phones. And I'm like, it's not about that, bro. I just want to record in the room. You know, and then he started getting loud with me, and I told him, you know what, bro, I said, you're getting loud, and in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, like, get your stuff out this dude's house, because if not, it's going to be his equipment. So I went ahead, and I got my equipment. I told him, I'm going to come back another time and record with you. Picked my stuff up. I turned my back, and he started swinging on me. I fell to the floor with my equipment. It was a box full of stuff, and as he was swinging on me, I was trying to fight to get back up. I got back up. He ran to the kitchen and go grab knives. And in my mind, I'm just like, when he ran to the kitchen, I'm like, get your stuff out of his house. So I was pushing my box out of his house, and then I went back to get my two T5 speakers. And when I went back to go on me to leave, I got my stuff out of...
Slowly.
Okay.
Slowly, look at me, slowly. I want you to start up again from, I went to go back inside to get my speakers. Very slowly, right here.
I pushed my stuff out of his house, my big box.
I got you. Push the stuff out.
I went back to get my T5 speakers.
Push the stuff out of it.
To get him out, he was at his door with knives telling me to get out of his house. So, you know, I got my stuff's out of his house now. I go ahead and I'm putting my stuff...
Did you get the speakers?
Yeah, my speakers. I got my speakers. Yes, ma'am. And I got my box.
So you got your speakers. Shh. So you went back and got the speakers.
Yes,
right?
as he was in the kitchen.
Okay, so you went back and got the speakers, and...
I went ahead and I get my equipment. I take it to my car, and I'm upset. You know, I know, you know, everything's moving fast. So I noticed when I look at, you know, my equipment, I'm like, my backpack's missing. You know, my laptop's missing. So I go to his house and I knock on the door and say, bro, please. I didn't come at him with no aggression. I said, please just give me back my stuff, bro, so I could leave you alone. You know, he's talking trash, saying this and that. And so he tells me, you want your stuff? Okay, fine. and he threw my backpack out of his back window or his back door or whatever, and he threw my camera. So he told me it was around the corner, so I went to go retrieve my items, and my backpack was there, my camera was there, but my laptop was missing. So I put my stuff back in the car and went back to his door and rewind. You know, he started talking more trash to me, and then he went ahead and said, I'm gonna call the cops, bro, because you're trespassing. You know, so when he told me he's gonna call the cops on me, I'm like, you gonna call the cops on me, bro, and you got my stuff? So I went ahead and I went back to my car and I called the police on him. And the police had came, you know, and they didn't really do much, you know, but they wrote down the report, and I told the police I'm gonna go ahead and sue him because he got my equipment, he's not giving it back. And then he told the police that his name was Kevin Mitchell.
Just a second. Do you have a police report, or did they just give you a card?
I have a copy of the police report.
Can I see a copy of the police report, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Where's his computer?
I don't have it. He has his own computer, ma'am. He has all his equipment.
How much did you pay for the computer? Have the receipt?
Yes, ma'am. I paid about $2,089.
No, I don't want to see an about. I want the receipt for the computer. Did you seek medical treatment that night for anything?
No, ma'am.
Did you seek medical treatment at any other time?
No, ma'am.
Did you advise the police that the defendant had assaulted you, or just that he had your computer? Think about what I'm saying. Police that you had been assaulted, or did you just tell them that he had your computer and refuses to return it?
Miss?
Just give me an answer. Look at the police report.
He's my childhood friend. I didn't put on the police report that he put his hands on me.
So I just asked you a question. You called the police, they arrived, you told the police about the computer, right?
Yes, ma'am.
There is nothing in the police report about an allegation of assault.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Because if he assaulted you, if you were afraid of him, you know, coming back twice and knocking at his door would have been a little bit crazy if he was acting like a Looney Tune that night. Now, did you throw out his backpack?
Allegedly, they said...
Not allegedly. I don't want to hear allegedly. I want to know if
I didn't throw it.
His backpack.
I didn't throw his backpack out.
What did
I
you
sat
do?
it outside.
What did you do?
I sat his backpack outside with the rest of the equipment.
How did you explain to me how you sat it outside?
I went through my back door, and I sat his backpack and his camera right there. The only two bags that was in my house left. And then I closed my sliding door, and he kept banging on my door. And I told him, your stuff is on the side. He went and grabbed it. He went back to his car, and then he just started raging, talking about...
And he called just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
The police.
Yeah, he sat in his car, and he called the police.
Yes, that's exactly what he did. And he said his problem wasn't that you had a physical altercation, or that you had his speakers,
or anything
else. Or that
else.
you had... Except his computer.
That's what they say.
Charging for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,089.97. We're finished here. Thank you very much.
This case is completed. Parties are excused.
On your way to success, people will hate, you know.
It's a whole lot, but, you know, it is what it is, you know.
He had a knife, you know, and it's cool because, you know, God knows the truth.
Oh, I never pulled no knife.
You know, he only lying to himself.
No punches that I know of.
Yeah, he was jealous of me, and it's fine because, honestly, I'm going to keep getting money and I'm going to keep getting more.
I'm just going up. That's it.
I'm going to keep going.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Harris versus Penn. Step forward.
Devin Harris is suing his ex-girlfriend, 25-year-old Jasmine Penn, for the cost to rent a car and a loan for gas money and food.
Mr. Harris, Miss Penn was your girlfriend?
Yes.
And you lived together for a period of time?
Yes.
And you moved into her apartment?
Yes.
When did you move into her apartment?
I can't remember the exact date that I actually moved in.
A month. Let's start with these. Was it hot or cold?
You know, it was San Bernardino, so it was very hot. So trying to remember the date we actually moved in.
March.
See, I knew she would know.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Why didn't you pay for rent?
I didn't pay any rent.
Why?
We didn't discuss payments for rent. I was supposed to help pay with the bills. Yeah.
Did you pay those?
No.
Devin Harris says ex-girlfriend Jasmine Penn owes for a rental car and a loan. Jasmine is countersuing for unpaid rent.
And when had you moved into the apartment?
I moved in February the 28th, 2013.
And you took the lease in your own name?
I did.
And then you met him and things moved quickly and you decided to move in with her?
Yes.
And it is your claim that you loaned her some money and also rented a car on your credit that she was supposed to pay for.
Yes.
She didn't.
Yes.
And in addition, she had a little fender bender in the car, all of which you became responsible for. And something about $1,600 that came out of your checking account. What was that for?
It was actually $1,500. That was for the
cross-complaint for unpaid rent and the fees that she had to incur for breaking her lease. Now, you broke the lease?
Yes,
because
Your
she
Honor.
couldn't afford to pay the rent?
Yes, Your Honor.
You should have thought of that before you signed the lease.
Well, he agreed to pay.
No, he didn't agree to pay for anything when you signed the lease. You signed the lease by yourself.
Yes, Your Honor.
He didn't move in for at least another month after that.
2.5 weeks to a month.
A month. So I assume that when you took that apartment, you had intended to get a roommate.
I tried to get a roommate towards
I
the
assume
end.
that that was your intention, to get a roommate, because you didn't have him when you rented the apartment. So it's not his fault that you broke the lease. It's your own fault you broke the lease. How many months did you live together?
2.5, 3 months.
Did you pay rent when you were there?
I didn't pay specifically to the rent. I pretty much paid household things. At the time, I had just recently bought a car, and we only had one car. We worked about an hour from our job, so my car and gas was paying for us to get back and forth to work. And I was paying for, like, food and things like that.
What other things like that?
Just everyday things you need to pay for stuff, just, groceries.
Why didn't you pay for rent?
I didn't pay any rent.
Why?
We didn't discuss payment for rent. I was supposed to help pay with the bills I was supposed to pay for.
Well, light and electric bills.
Yeah.
Did you pay those?
No.
So she was going to pay the rent and you were going to pay the utilities.
Exactly.
And the gas to and from the car. That, that may work out. How much was the rent in total?
$800.
$800. Well, if he paid for the gas...
We were going to the same job.
It doesn't matter. You would have to get there. So, listen, even if I were to use your logic that he had to use his car to get to work anyway, and I was just tagging along, he can say to me, I was living in her apartment. She was going to pay the rent anyway. Why do I have to pay her?
He agreed to.
Just a second. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You broke the lease, and then you went and lived at his parents' house. You didn't say that. How come somebody left that out of the equation?
He asked me to.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Devin Harris says ex-girlfriend Jasmine Penn owes for a rental car and a loan. Jasmine is countersuing for unpaid rent.
Now, if you were supposed to pay the transportation and the utilities, and you tell me that you didn't pay the utilities because you have no proof that you paid the utilities, you at least owe her for the utilities.
Yeah.
For the...
I'd say about $200, but the thing is, it's not about me paying the utilities, it's that I've given her money that covers the utilities that, sit there.
That's all he did throughout the whole relationship.
So you owe her for the utilities. Let's say it's $200.
Okay.
For the time that you lived there, and you did use your car back and forth for a part of that time.
Yeah.
But then she rented a car because you had different shifts, then your shifts changed. How many months did she use the rental car?
Between August to October.
Well, August to October, were you living together then?
She was actually living with me at my folks' house for that time.
Oh, you mean when the lease was broken?
She moved in with me into my folks' house, yeah.
Well, you didn't say that. How come somebody left that out of the equation? You broke the lease, and then you went and lived at his parents' house.
He asked me to. After we broke the lease, I was struggling. Me and my daughter, we had no place to go, and he's like, come, stay over here, and then
I just would have liked the information. It's not the way you made it appear here. How much did you pay his mother for rent for you and your daughter?
She wasn't charging us anything.
That's not my question. How did you contribute for your support when you were living at his mother's house?
She just asked us to for 1 month.
Strike out the $200. For what months do you claim she owes you for personal expenses that you loaned her money for?
It was a time, actually, after our breakup. She actually drove the car for a couple weeks after we broke up, and then for about 2 months, she was kind of having issues, so I was pretty much helping her out with just gas and...
Who cares? You were helping her out. That's a nice thing for you to do.
Well, it was due to, she would say, like, I'll pay you the money back on Friday, I get paid, you know, things like that.
Then you should have stopped lending her money, if that's what you thought it was. Did you ever get together during that time?
No.
Okay. Now, let's talk about your car. Who should pay for your car?
He should.
Why?
Because he rented it. I was just an additional driver.
What? Speak up.
He rented it. I was just an additional driver.
Well, I understand that because you didn't have the credit to do it. That's why he rented it. Right. But he had his own car.
At the time, his car was in the shop.
Really? Was your car in the shop?
Yeah, my car was in the shop. I was driving another car that my family...
What other car?
I was using my grandmother's Lexus for that at that time.
How long was your car in the shop?
A little bit over a month.
And how many months did you have the car?
About a month and a half.
How long did she have the car? You have the information.
Approximately from August 19th to October 25th.
That's more than a little over a month. Well, I don't remember. And you know what else? I'm not going to remember either one of you when I finish this case.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Now, you owe him for the rental car. You needed a car. You didn't have credit to get a car. He got you the car. Why didn't you pay for the car?
Well, I feel like still in turn he owed me for breaking the lease, rent, utilities, so I feel like it went both ways.
And what about you and your kid? Lived at his mother's house. You didn't pay for anything.
That was his grandma's choice. I mean,
well, it was your choice, too. It was your choice to rent an apartment that you couldn't pay for you and your daughter.
I could pay for it at the time, but when he moved in...
No. If you could pay for it at the time, then what prevented you from continuing to pay for it?
I'm having to pay the utilities, all the food.
Yeah, the utilities are the same, just like when he drives his car to work with you hanging on the door.
I was giving him gas for when we were going to the same exact place every day.
How much is the car?
How much was the rental car?
Oh, $15.10, $70.
$15.10, $70. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much. That's all.
Parties are excused.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
You decided to put new flooring throughout the house.
But she was floored when they didn't return.
Who asked for the balance of the money?
Who?
What are you asking me for?
Judge Judy.
It's just my fault. I should have had something more in writing, and I should have just prepared myself a little bit more.
The money that I spent that's out of my account will be put back in my account, so I can't complain.
Especially when you're moving in too fast in a relationship.
We did. I mean, sometimes that happens. You know, we moved in too fast, and then...
I should have never entered into a relationship where I pretty much didn't even know the guy.
Other things occurred, you know, working and just drifting apart, and that caused a lot of arguments, and here we are today.
He did a lot of this, just like the judge said. He does a lot of this and not enough action.
What they say about the woman scorn or something like that, you know,
So, at the end of the day, it's my bad.
Lesson learned.
You decided to put new flooring throughout the house.
To start, I gave him $500 up front.
Workers wanted her to pay in full.
The weekend was coming up.
They told me they would have it done by the weekend.
Floored when they didn't return.
Who asked the plaintiff for the balance of the money?
Who?
What are you asking me for?
This is Judge Judy. 20-year-old Logan Geringer is suing concrete laborer 20-year-old Colton Wallace for a partial refund of the money he charged her to install the floor in her new home.
This case number 162 on the calendar in the matter of Geringer versus Wallace. Parties have been sworn in. Gentlemen, have a seat. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Miss Geringer, is this the first house that you bought in 2020?
Yes.
How big a house is it?
I think altogether it was 1,300 square feet.
What do you mean it was? Do you still own it?
Yes, I do. I don't know it off the top of my head, Your Honor.
Who did you buy it from?
My mom was the one that had purchased it, and then I bought it from her.
When did your mother buy it?
I don't know.
When did you buy it from your mother?
I still don't know.
Well, you have to know when you bought the house.
We moved in October.
Who's we?
Me and my roommate. Also my witness. Her name's Lindsay, Your Honor.
How much did you pay for it?
$315,000, Your Honor.
And where is it located?
It's in Garden City, Idaho.
How much is your mortgage?
$1,500 a month.
Good. So far, you're doing fine. I know you didn't expect to being asked these questions, but so far, you're doing okay. What roommate do?
She's a waitress with me as well.
Does she pay you rent?
Yes.
How much?
$600 a month.
Great. So together you managed to support a house and a
Yes.
mortgage and pay taxes?
Yes.
Before you moved into the house, you decided to put new flooring throughout the house. And you were talking to a friend, and the friend said, I have a friend, and together we can, if you want it done cheaper, we can do it for you if you buy the materials. That's what this case is about. This is one of the men who you hired to put in the flooring in the house. The deal was that your dad was going to buy the materials and you would just pay them for labor. You would pay him $1,800 for labor to install the flooring in the house. Your dad was going to buy it. Had you already picked out the flooring?
Yes, I had. Because he was the one that had bought it at first.
Who's he?
My father.
Did you ever tell the defendant that you were buying clip-on flooring, clip-on wood flooring?
I never said that I was buying clip-on flooring, no. I didn't know what type it was,
Do you know
but he knew before he came to the house to do it.
Just 1 second. Just 1 second. Don't tell me what he knew. Just answer my question. So far, you're doing fine.
Okay.
Did the defendant go with your father to buy the flooring?
No.
Do you know what clip-on flooring is?
No.
Neither do I.
I do self-labor. I did concrete and home remodels for the past 4 years.
You do concrete work?
Yeah.
Do you work for yourself or are you freelance?
Currently work for myself, yes.
What kind of concrete work?
Foundations and footings, and we did driveways as well.
Who's we?
The company I used to work for.
What was the last job that you had for yourself?
It was home remodels.
Month and year?
I want to say March 2020.
So that's almost a year ago.
Yeah.
So that's the last time you did concrete work, was almost a year ago. How have you been supporting yourself?
I do jobs. Currently, like what I was doing for her, I make decent money.
Just 1 second.
Yes, Your Honor.
You do odd jobs.
Yeah.
Prior to trying to put in her wood floor, I want you to give me the name of the person for whom you installed a wood floor.
Cannon.
Were they referred to you?
It's a friend of mine.
Did you do one room or more than one room for?
I did one room for him.
And how much did you charge him?
$1,100.
Was it a clip-on floor?
Correct.
When was the last time you installed a floor that was not a clip-on floor?
Never.
Never. So when you saw that the plaintiff's father, who has agreed between the two of you, would purchase the material on floor, right?
Yeah.
Did you tell the plaintiff, I don't know how to do this, I only know how to do clip-on floors?
No, Your Honor. So when we got in contact with each other, she said she didn't know.
No. Her father bought the materials, brought it to the house. You look at it. On what day do you remember that her father brought the materials to the house?
It was already
there.
What
date was that?
It was already. I'm not sure. It was already there before I showed up.
Okay, just a second. On what date did your father bring the materials to the house? If you don't know, we'll ask him.
I don't know.
Could you stand up, sir?
October 14th, Your Honor.
10/14. And that's when you delivered the flooring to your daughter's new home.
Yes.
And you showed up on the 15th of October.
Correct, I think, yes.
Well, what did you do when you looked at this flooring that wasn't clip-on?
I know how to do adhesive flooring. I've never done it. But I mean, it's pretty simple when you look at, how it connects and how it bonds together. So then I didn't look at her and tell her, no, I don't know how to do this.
The plaintiff gave you how much money as a deposit for the whole job, which was $1,800? How much did the plaintiff give you and when?
She gave us in cash, and it was...
No. I want you to be very careful with what you tell me.
100%.
Did she give you any money before you started work?
No.
Do you want to tell me in October what you gave him to start work?
Yes, Your Honor. So to start, I gave him $500 up front to go to Home Depot and get any of the supplies that he needed.
Did you give him $500 in cash?
Yes.
Does that sound...
Not really.
Does that sound familiar to you?
I had to buy tools for the adhesive. I had my witness with me, and I was also teaching him how to do flooring. So when I brought him on, I had to go buy flooring, I had to buy a skill saw, and then a tile roller.
Why don't you answer my question? I didn't ask you for a whole long story. Okay. All I asked you was, did she give you any money?
Yes.
You said she gave... Well, then just answer the question.
Okay, yes.
She gave you money to... How much did she give you?
Around $500.
Before you started...
Around $500.
All right. So she gave you $500, and you wanted to show your friend what to do.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now you've started the job, and you're supposed to get paid the other $1,300 when you're what? Tell me the word.
When we were finished.
Right. The weekend was coming up. I want to see if anything rings your bell. Before you finished and the weekend is coming up, who asked the plaintiff for the balance of the money because you needed it?
Who?
Who?
I don't know. Me?
Ask the plaintiff. What are you asking me for? I'm a television personality. Why are you asking me if I gave her money? I didn't. Who asked her for the balance before you were finished? Who asked for the balance before they were finished?
They both said they wanted it for the weekend, so since I thought they were friends, I gave it to them.
Tell me what, just a second. When you say both, who's both? Somebody had to say, or they both were talking at the same time, both he and the person who I can't see over there? Somebody put a camera on him. Okay. This genius also, were they together when they asked you for the $1,300?
So it started off with Aiden, and then Colton took over everything, so Colton was the one that asked for it for the weekend.
Well, tell me where that conversation took place.
In the kitchen of the house, when there was already progress made. They told me they would have it done by the weekend, so I gave them $1,300 in cash.
So now you were fully paid?
They were fully...
He doesn't deny it. He started out this case by saying she gave me $1,800 for labor. That's what she gave. That's what he started with. All right. How many rooms did they complete?
No. Your Honor, they completed almost 2 rooms.
Do you have photographs of those 2 rooms?
We have video.
The work that they did?
We have video.
I'd like to see the video. I'd like to see it.
Here we are in the dining room with edging that needs done. Edging that needs done. Edging. And they left the hall. We've put a few pieces in. Nothing in here. Nothing in here. In the hall. Some in here, which will have to be ripped up. And nothing.
Okay, so they did 2 rooms. Not completely, but they did 2 rooms. And they did it with your materials. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yes. Okay. Well, did they not come back? What happened? Now you can tell me what happened.
I had came back, and there was no progress made that Monday.
Okay, so they didn't work on the weekend, but they had been paid on Friday.
Yes.
Okay. Monday, nothing got done. And?
So I had texted him, and I was like, are you, like, what's up? I can give you more time if you need it, but I have a dateline that I do need to meet, because in the process of all of this, we were moving all of our stuff out of our old place.
Just okay. Don't go into tributaries. Just stay in the river.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You texted him and said, what's happening? And what did he say?
He didn't answer either of us. And then I had messaged him and I was like, I'm going to take you to court. And he said, okay, take me to court.
And later today.
According to you, the steering wheel was not tight. And as a result of the steering wheel jumping around, the truck was swerving like this.
Correct.
Like you are, with bobbing and weaving right now. And would it have been tighter if you had a license?
Logan Geringer claims Colton Wallace never completed installing the floor in her new home. She is suing for a partial refund of the money she paid.
Okay, you texted him and said, what's happening? And what did he say?
And he was just like, I don't know. I don't have anyone to come help work with me right now. Just give me then. My dad even offered to cut the flooring as long as he would put it down. My dad had just had major back surgery, so he was recovering from that. Otherwise, he would have done it himself. He didn't answer either of us. And then I had messaged him and I was like, hey, I'm just asking for $800 back. I really appreciate the work you did do and the time that you did take to spend, but I'm going to take you to court otherwise if you can't give it back to me. And he said, okay, take me to court. And I have evidence of all of that in a Snapchat
I'd like
text.
to see that.
Okay.
I'd like to see that. Your message to him and his to you.
Okay. So...
Just don't say anything.
Okay.
And what did he say to you? What did he answer you? So you asked him for $800 back.
Yes.
He appreciated the work that you did. Keep going. What an idiot. So you asked him for $800 back, and you thought that that was fair. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
I do, too. Judgment.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
I think it was fairable.
I mean, it couldn't have went better.
I wasn't getting paid enough. I don't work for free.
Halfway through, he said, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done adhesive before.
I guess I don't know what I'm doing, right?
I was like, why did you start it in the first place?
I'll probably stick to concrete.
I will be going with a licensed contractor in the future.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Bear versus Piles. Step forward.
Laura Bear is suing her former friend, Matthew Piles, for causing her truck to be impounded when he was caught driving with a suspended license.
Miss Bear, let me see if I understand this. This is your story. Your story is this young man wanted to buy your truck. He took it for, you say, a test drive. While he had it on the test drive, the truck was stopped. He had a suspended license. The truck was impounded, and the truck has been sitting in impound, where it has accumulated $8,000 worth of fines or whatever from impound. And you want him to pay you $2,200, despite the fact that, according to you, you agreed to sell him the truck for $1,000, and he was out for a test drive. Mr. Piles, on the other hand, said that he and your brother or brother-in-law...
No, it was her fiance was with me.
They were going out someplace. A girlfriend, you?
Yeah. Well, I picked her up on the way to the store.
Look at me. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes, I wanted to pick up my girlfriend. They said, sure, go and use the truck. You went, used the truck. And according to you, the steering wheel was not tight, right?
Correct.
And would it have been tighter if you had a license?
No, it wouldn't have made a difference.
No one's right.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Your license was suspended because of DUI.
Right, but my suspension should have been up.
Well, I should have been 5'8".
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Laura Bear says former friend Matthew Piles owes for causing her truck to be impounded. Matthew says the incident is Laura's fault, and he is countersuing for emotional distress.
It wouldn't have made any difference whether had a license or not, because the steering wheel was jumping around, and as a result of the steering wheel jumping around, the truck was swerving like this, right?
Correct.
Like you are, bobbing and weaving right now.
Right.
And you got stopped.
Right.
And then they impounded her truck because you were driving with a suspended license.
Correct.
Now, you'll lie.
Right, but my suspension was should have been up.
Well, I should have been 5'8", but I turned out to be 5 feet tall, and that's where I stayed. So that happened on what date, Mr. Piles?
It was back in February. I don't know the exact number.
Do you need a chair to sit down, sir? Are you sure you're able to stand up?
Yeah.
Great. Do you remember the date in February?
Yes, Your Honor, the 17th of February.
Now, your fiancé, were you with him that night?
I'd been with him earlier that day, Your Honor.
Great, but you weren't with him when he was driving?
No, ma'am, not after
Good.
he
Now
left.
you can sit.
Yes, ma'am.
So now you know that you all know each other, and you know that the truck is now in impound, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
Why don't you go get it?
I cannot afford it.
Well, not now. Then?
Then? I absolutely couldn't afford it then.
Well, then what prompted you to wake up this morning and say, now this would be a good time for me to go and get thousands of dollars from Mr. Piles?
Because since then, I've not had a vehicle.
When he took it, he was going to buy it from me. And he agreed after it was impounded that he was going to pay for it to get out.
I don't believe that at all. However, let us say he borrowed, because I don't believe her with regard to you were going to buy it. You borrowed it to go pick up your girlfriend. But you were not supposed to be behind the wheel of a truck or any other motor vehicle because you didn't have a license. And the reason her car was impounded was because you didn't have a license. So whose fault is that?
But they couldn't impound her vehicle because my suspension.
Oh, yes, they could. What do you mean they couldn't? I'm telling you they did.
No, she could have gone down there and gotten it straightened out because the car was in her name, and she could have gotten it back out of impound because they can't.
She could have. You know, she could have. Again, I say to you, I could have been 5'8".
But I gave her the $100.
When did you give her $100?
I gave it to her later that day, or the next day, the following day.
In February?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, she sort of acknowledges that you gave her the $100 to go and get it out of impound. As a matter of fact, she says that he gave me $100, but she says that you didn't give her the $100 till May.
No, ma'am. No, I gave it to her the next day.
You gave it to her the next day?
You're right.
You sure?
Yes.
I believe you. How's that?
It works.
Is that good?
Yes, ma'am.
Go get the car out of impound. That's what you should have done. Sorry, can't help you. Now, let's deal with your ridiculous counterclaim.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by ToJudgeJudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Why don't you, in the few brief minutes that I have remaining in my day, explain to me why you think Miss Bear owes you $2,000?
Because it's her vehicle, and she knows the condition of her vehicle. And for her to allow me to get into the defective steering, drive it with defective steering, and risk my life and everybody else's life that was in the vehicle and around me on the road, I believe that that's the reason for my countersuit, is for her knowingly allowing me to drive.
If the car had crashed and you were dead, I actually would have entertained that application from your estate. But since you're not and you're here, your case is dismissed.
Okay.
Great. Now, he gave you $100. You should have gotten the car out of impound. Dismissed. Goodbye. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy, the judge has no appetite for dishonesty.
You knew you were breaking the law when you were cooking and selling food out of your house. You don't have a love affair with the truth.
Judge Judy.
He hadn't given me...
Get it out of impound.
So it sat in impound. I couldn't afford to pay for it.
Because they can't impound her vehicle for me driving.
Now I'm out of vehicle.
It's not my vehicle.
Not let your friends borrow your vehicles.
No, I'm glad it's over with.
You were cooking out of your home for profit.
Was a social media comment in poor taste?
She said, please beware and don't purchase from her.
Do you have a food license to be able to cook and sell to the public?
No, I don't.
The judge has no appetite for dishonesty.
You knew you were breaking the law when you were cooking and selling food out of your house. You don't have a love affair with the truth.
This is Judge Judy. Colleen Fuller is suing Moshe Platt for defamation of character and loss of income after Moshe slandered her on Facebook.
Judge's case number 160 on the calendar in the matter of Fuller versus Platt. Parties have been sworn in. Folks, have a seat, please.
Ms. Fuller, this is what I gather from your complaint. Because of the COVID pandemic, the governor of your state, Governor Newsom in California, closed all restaurants to... Would you stop moving around, please? You're making me seasick.
Sorry.
And you belong to some sort of a food group. You posted, according to you, on your Facebook page, a statement, which I will look at. According to you, the statement indicated that you were going to be sort of a vigilante, and if you knew anyone who was breaking the rule and allowing for indoor dining, you were going to report them.
Correct.
Tell me exactly what you posted on your Facebook page. Read it to me.
Okay. It says, if I see any inside dining open, I'm calling OSHA, ABC, whoever I need to, point blank, period.
Okay, and that's all you said?
Yes.
As a result of that, the defendant, who you knew, you say called you.
She called me at my job. She didn't call my phone directly.
That's not true.
Well, just a second. Hold on a second. How would somebody that doesn't know you know where you work?
Because she's friends with my employer's daughter. And she called my employer's daughter and got the phone number that way.
Are you telling me that prior to receiving a call from her, you didn't know who she was?
I knew who she was, but when she called, that was the first conversation I've ever had with her in my life.
I'm not asking you whether that's the first conversation. You knew who she was.
Yes.
Where had you seen her before?
I seen her one time at Food for Less.
And what was the defendant doing there?
Shopping.
So you were just two strangers shopping?
Yes.
Did you exchange any word, like a hello?
She did with my employer.
I think you mean you were just standing there?
Yes, I was loading groceries onto the belt to be rang up.
So aside from that one meeting where she was there and spoke to your employer, you had never seen her before or after?
No.
Did your employer introduce you to her?
No.
So she didn't know your name?
She did know my name.
Wow.
Because my sister, okay, sorry.
Just explain to me. I'm not getting, these are not two strangers that she called you up. I'm trying to get to the truth of it. You're making it difficult for me.
Okay, well, she knows who I am and I know who she is because our sisters used to be best friends about 15 years ago.
So according to you, that's the way you know her. Your sisters used to be best friends.
Yes.
Had you seen her 15 years ago?
No.
If your sisters were best friends?
No.
Never saw her?
No, I didn't live with my
spoke to
sister
her.
when growing up. I didn't live with my sister growing up.
How do you know your sister was best friends with her sister?
Because I was around her sister when she would hang out with
her sister.
Yes.
So that there is a connection. I'm just trying to figure out how a person, because she's in the restaurant business,
right?
And she, according to you, called you, you say, at your place of employment.
Yes.
And threatened you about this post that you put up on your Facebook page that you're going to report anybody that you see violating the rule about indoor dining to whomever will listen, whatever media outlet will listen, whatever governmental agency will listen.
Yes.
Subsequent to that phone call, which I'm sure was unpleasant, you decided to do some sort of a fundraiser. And your fundraiser was for whose benefit?
For my brother.
Why?
Because he has schizophrenia and he also has a substance abuse problem, and I was trying to raise money to get him into treatment.
Is that what you wrote in your fundraising advertising?
No, I didn't. I really didn't want to put his business out there like that.
So what did you say?
I have the poster right here, what I had, if you would like me to read it to you.
Sure.
Okay. It says, all homemade, delicious chili beans and white rice and cornbread and fried chicken. Can also put crackers if you'd like. Nice size servings and $10 a plate or 2 for $15. I can also deliver for.
It doesn't say that you're doing it for anything other than yourself. It doesn't say anything about fundraiser.
It doesn't say anything, but that's what it was for.
I don't care what you're telling me now it was for, because I believe that that's probably a whole lot of baloney. So what you were doing is you were cooking out of your home for commercial sale for profit. That's what you were advertising. $10 a plate or 2 for $15. You advertised what it was. According to you, you had lots of orders and you made $300 and people would come to your house and pick up the food. Is that what the idea was?
Yes, I was delivering actually.
Okay. You made according to you, about $300 when the defendant posted on her Facebook page what you consider a defamatory statement.
Yes.
About what you were doing, making and selling food for profit out of your home. And you want to tell me what she said about you, because that's the basis of your lawsuit.
Right.
What did she say?
Would you like me to read the whole post or just the part that the whole thing?
Yeah, is it very long? This is only a half-hour program.
Okay, I'll just read you this part. So she said, someone has a very serious health issue that can kill with 1 drop of blood, so please beware and don't of my comment and my post that I made selling the food along with that statement.
Okay, put it up so I can read the whole thing now. Now put it up on evidence. Can I see the replies
I don't think I have the replies for that post.
Just a second. Well, would you tell me where she mentions your name?
My name is right here and right here. She posted pictures of my picture with my name right next to it with the stuff that I posted along with what she said.
Yeah, I think you could probably put what that says under replies.
Oh.
Is that what you posted, Miss Platt? Miss Platt?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I did write this.
So no, I saw that you wrote it. I'm asking you, you posted, it says under replies, you posted.
Yes, I did post, but underneath the replies, this is from Madeira to Go. Those where you see it says replies, that is from the Madeira to Go group page that we had. That's not the replies from the Madeira online garage sale. There was no replies coming from me. It was just other people replying that she was a hater, that she's a hypocrite for trying to call OSHA or whatever.
I'm just saying, I don't know who. No.
Okay.
I'll get to you in a second.
Okay.
I'm looking at her statement.
Mm-hmm. If I can clear up where it says replies, Your Honor, that's a screenshot of what I had posted originally saying I would call OSHA on people.
I understand. I understand that.
So she put my comment that I had made about calling OSHA on people along with my post of selling food with the statement that she said all in one post. She added the screenshots as pictures.
Correct.
Did you do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. I just want to make certain that there's a tie-in. Okay. So the only problem that she has is, just FYI, someone has a very serious health issue that can kill with a drop of blood, so please beware and don't purchase from her. You all be safe. So the someone that she's talking about, even though she posted your picture, you want me to tie the two in together, the someone, even though she doesn't mention your name.
Yeah, well, it's kind of goes hand in hand. If you put my picture and saying this, and saying what she said, the person reading it would believe that she's talking about me.
I could do that. Now, let's get back to you. Do you have a food license to be able to cook and sell to the public, which allows you to cook certain things in your house, that your house has been inspected?
No, I don't.
No, you don't.
No.
So that you were breaking the law when you were cooking and selling food out of your house during COVID.
Yes.
And you knew you were breaking the law when you were cooking and selling food out of your house with COVID. I want you to understand that I'm not buying the sick brother story.
I actually have proof that my brother, he was put in an institution because he has schizophrenia and substance abuse. I wouldn't lie about that, Your Honor.
Just a second. I'm not questioning whether your brother is sick. I'm questioning whether you paid for it from the food you were making.
Well, he was put on a 5150 hold, so nobody paid for it. But what I'm saying is I couldn't even put him in a drug treatment program because everything I was doing was stopped.
Let me tell you that you didn't use this $300 for your brother. That's what I'm saying to you. I don't believe that. And you're saying to me, well, that's true, but I would have if I could have, if they let me. But instead, I used the $300 for myself. What you were doing is for profit.
I did not use it for myself.
For profit, selling food out of your house without a license during COVID. Like people who come to court and skirt around the truth, have a difficult time addressing and greeting the truth. That's a very hard thing for me.
Colleen Fuller says Moshe Platt slandered her on Facebook, causing her to lose income. Moshe is countersuing also for loss of income and harassment.
Now, who do you live with?
Myself.
Who do you work for?
I work for in-home support services.
So you see different people all the time?
No, I just have one client.
Well, you stay with one. You have the same client now?
Yes, I've had for 8 years.
As part of your work responsibility, just so that I know, how often are you COVID tested?
I get tested once every 2 weeks.
Okay, now, I'm going to turn to you for a second. So I get the gist of it. What your countersuit is, which is ridiculous, which I'm not even entertaining, you say because she posted that post about in-room dining, I was forced to temporarily close my business, and people threaten me on social media. Whatever she said, if somebody threatened you, then they're an idiot. because she didn't name you, according to what she read to me.
Okay, so...
Unless you tell things specific about you on her Facebook page.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'd like to see what she specifically wrote about you.
Okay, so, because I know you have 30 minutes to do the show. I was sleeping, and I woke up to a text message with a screenshot saying that, hey, are you okay, cousin? And I was like, yes. And I said, why?
Just, hey.
Yes, ma'am.
Listen to me.
Yes, ma'am.
I asked you to show me something, not speak.
Okay.
I said, show me what she said about you.
Right there, ma'am. It says Brianne Fuller, which I'm also assuming that it's her other account because I didn't speak to anyone else.
So why? Just a second. I want you to show me her original post.
This is the...
I don't care about that.
That is the original post. She said she spoke to that black Moshe Robinson, and she called and said about...
I don't care. I don't care.
Okay,
I don't
not
care
a problem.
About that. That's nonsense.
And then
That's
I have
nonsense.
text messages as well.
That's a nonsense.
I do have text messages if you want proof of that as well.
Shh. Just a second. I'm dismissing the part of your complaint that has to do with defamation. There's no defamation. It's just nasty speak.
Okay.
Now, the other part of your counterclaim, which I'm going to get rid of, is for harassment for $2,000. Text message she sent to you. The worst. Pick the worst text message she sent to you.
So this is the text messages.
Don't speak. Don't speak. Just put it up on the evidence board.
Okay, here is... She was using my uncle's stuff, so... Sorry. There's like a long list of them.
No, would you do me a favor? I said to you, pay attention. The worst text message she sent. Okay.
And I have another one. Would you like to see them?
Sure.
Okay.
Show me the other one. Show me the other one. That's not a threat.
This one right here is from my uncle's cell phone, which she called me from, which I have the screenshots of that as well. Watch the turnout. And I said, is that a threat to me? And that one here. And then on social media, also she said she was going to slap me. It's right there in...
Okay. Very good. Very good. Your counterclaim is dismissed. Now let's get back to what we're really talking about. You're going to explain to me if you wrote she has a disease that if people came in contact with even one drop of her blood, it could kill them. What did you write?
Just what it says there. It says someone. It says someone. It does not say her because I didn't want to put on blast because they do live together. That is the reason why I said someone.
Are you telling me that the person, because in your answer says it's your uncle.
Yes.
Lives with her?
Yes.
Now?
Yes. When I had spoken to him on the phone, I said, do you know a Colleen Fuller? And she's carrying his last name, okay? So I said, do you know her? And his reply was, yes, I know her. I said, is that your wife? Is that your girlfriend? And he was like, well, we're not together anymore, but she does live here with me.
That's a lie.
That is very correct. I have no reason to lie.
Just a second. Your uncle says she's not my girlfriend anymore?
Mm-hmm.
Lie.
But she still lives here with me?
Correct. And he said that she's her own woman and she could speak for herself. Would you like to speak to her? I said, yes.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
You have your uncle's phone number?
Yes, ma'am.
Give it to me.
559.
Just tell me his first name. You want me to make this call?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You're coming to court with unclean hands.
But I'm not talking about the part that she's saying that I'm selling food. I'm just talking about the disease part.
I don't care.
Nobody said you had a disease.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy, flat of slandering her on Facebook, causing her to lose income.
Okay. Number's been disconnected. Let's try it again.
Your Honor, that's the correct number. 559. I said that's the correct number. 559 is his phone number.
Okay. So you know her uncle?
He's my employer. I've been working for him through in-home support for 8 years. But I've never dated this gentleman, ever.
Oh, now I got it.
If you could please make that call, he can clear everything up.
Just a second. Why didn't you just tell me that instead of saying my employer?
He's not her uncle. He even asked me, why does she keep calling me her uncle? And I'm not related to her, no way, shape, or form. That's what he told me.
My cousin is Ebony.
All right, just a second. I'm going to make this very simple for myself.
Okay.
because I don't like people who come to court and skirt around the truth, have a difficult time addressing and greeting the truth. That's a very hard thing for me. But I don't even have to reach the point whether I think that she defamed you. You were operating out of your home an illegal food operation during a pandemic, exposing the public.
Your Honor,
you go to
the
grocery
part that
stores, you're out shopping.
The defamation part that I'm talking about is not...
Let's understand each other.
I understand.
You're coming to court with unclean hands. Your unclean hands are you broke the law.
But I'm not talking about the part that she's saying that I'm selling food. I'm just talking about the disease part.
Nobody said you had a disease.
I don't care. What you are...
Yes, ma'am.
What you are asking the court is for help, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You're asking the court for help. And you're coming to court having broken the law with relation to the same incident. And I'm not helping you because you don't have a love affair with the truth.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Are you the victim of an assault? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Now, if you had said to me, listen, I know, put your hand down.
Yes, ma'am.
Put your hand down.
Yes, ma'am.
If you had said to me, I know her, this is how I know her. I worked for a man for 8 years who she keeps calling her uncle. I don't think it's her uncle. And she used to be best friends. I had to pull it out of you. She used to be best friends with my sister.
Her sister.
Goodbye. We're done with you. You don't have a love affair with the truth.
Your Honor,
and
but you're not letting me explain my case.
Hands.
If you would
Goodbye.
let me explain,
We're
please.
done. I heard a
Truth, Your
What
Honor.
about my lost wages, ma'am? I lost business because of her.
If you could call my employer, he could tell you.
I dismissed your counterclaim. You weren't paying attention. You were too busy talking.
I had to pay back $4,000 for my customer.
Case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I was in jail for the assault. There was 2 assaults.
It was a bad idea to bring back her ex.
How did she cut her arm, Mr. Simple?
Daniel pushed me.
Judge Judy.
The comment that I had posted on Facebook, she took personally. It was nothing directed towards her.
She came for me and she came for.
It wasn't directed